game plans of these two teams. They both plan to run the football today. That was a successful game plan a year ago when Kansas City upset Cincinnati 31-28, getting some turnovers late to pull the upset. Hillary and Jennings are deep for the Bengals. Nick Lowry to kick it off. And is taken by Stanford Jennings. Jennings keeps his feet going almost to the 30-yard line. So Cincinnati in good shape. Todd McNair makes the tackle after a 27-yard return. Here's the starting offensive unit for the Bengals. That offensive line led by all-pro veterans Munoz and Montoya. Schonert starts his 7th game in 6 years with the Bengals. Brooks leads the AFC in total yards from scrimmage, and rookie Eric Ball has replaced Ickey Woods. Now on passing downs, Hillary and Martin come in the spread offense to give the Bengals 4 wide receivers. Cincinnati with a first down from their own 30-yard line. Turk Schonert is the quarterback. Brooks and Ball are the running backs. In motion is Brown. And the give is to Ball. Ball tries to turn the corner, gets a couple of yards. He's to the 35 before he's taken out of bounds by Albert Lewis, one of the Kansas City cornerbacks. Let's take a look at that Kansas City defense. They're ranked 2nd in the AFC coming into today's game, and there have been a couple of changes. Leonard Griffin replaces the injured Neil Smith up front. First-round draft choice Thomas and McGovern give the Chiefs a pair of rookie linebackers. McGovern is the leading tackler. That's secondary, one of the reasons the Chiefs lead the AFC in pass defense. To stop the run, they'll go to their 43. Sally Amua replaces McGovern to get in 4 defensive linemen. 2nd and 5 after Ball picked up 5 yards on the initial carry for the Bengals. Schonert with his first pass. Got it away under pressure, and it's incomplete, intended for Eric Ball out of the backfield. As the Chiefs put some pressure on Turk Schonert early, Moss and Bell from that defensive line giving Turk a taste of action here in the early going.
Well, that's exactly what Sam White didn't want to see, and what the Chiefs are trying to do. They know Schonert, or they expected Schonert might be a little nervous, even though he is a cool customer. They want to try and get some pressure on Schonert early, stop the running a game, and force him to go to the air.
Schonert has completed for his career 63% of his passes, one of the top career marks in the NFL. Passing down here for the Bengals on 3rd and 5. Instead, they'll run. James Brooks with his first carry turns the corner, and he's got a Bengal first down all the way to the 46-yard line. Kevin Ross had to come up to make the tackle on Brooks. They got the block, turned the corner, and Brooks with a first down run.
Good on him.
Well, it's just excellent blocking on the right side of the screen. You'll see a convoy of blockers out in front of James Brooks getting good angles on the defenders, and Ross is able to get over there, but not before Brooks picks up good yardage. This is the main man, James Brooks, that Coach Schottenheimer of the Chiefs is worried about. He said this is a great player.
Brooks goes out of the game now as the Bengals have a first down, the ball just beyond the 45 of Cincinnati. Opening series of the game from Kansas City. Eric Ball stopped for no gain. Leonard Griffin, who gets the start today in place of the injured Neil Smith, who fractured his sternum against San Diego a week ago, makes a big tackle for no gain.
And I think that's going to help this rushing defense of Kansas City this week, because Griffin is a bigger, bulkier player than Leonard Smith or Neil Smith. Smith was known for his rushing, and I think that Griffin will do a better job of being able to fill those holes, as we just saw him do in the last play.
Kansas City has been vulnerable to the run, although it's been their nickel defense that's given up a lot of running yards rather than their base. Second down for Cincinnati. And Schonert to pass. Again, pressure. The blitz comes. Kevin Porter hit Turk Schonert just as he released the ball, and it is ruled an incomplete pass. The strong safety, Kevin Porter, hitting Turk Schonert just as he released it.
I don't think Schonert ever saw number 27 on the right side of your screen just coming clean. No one picked him up. There wasn't much that Schonert could do there except to hopefully avoid an injury. That was a tough hit he took.
Now the chess game. Here's the attack offense on 3rd down. Schonert calling the play at the line of scrimmage, trying to prevent Kansas City from getting defensive substitutions onto the field. 3rd and 9. Play action pass. Schonert again in trouble. And sacked back at the 30-yard line. Chris Morton, the linebacker, was coming. He wrapped up Schonert early, then got some help to take him down. And Schonert comes out of that.
Schonert's limping, Tommy.
And, of course, that's what the Bengals cannot afford. Another
Good on him. It's good on him. It's good on him. It's good on him.
Well, of course, Eric Wilhelm is the backup quarterback today. Now, we did mention earlier that Boomer asked Sam if he could play. Boomer thinks he can, so we may see Boomer if there is an injury. But I was impressed with this Kansas City's first defensive effort to stop these Bengals. That was good defense.
Lee Johnson is on to punt on 4th down for Cincinnati. He's averaged 41.7 yards a kick this season. Manley is deep for Kansas City. This is not a good kick. Manley takes it on one hop and is immediately down for the Bengals. Dangerous play by Manley. Took it on the hop, and Carl Zander was all over him, but only a 34-yard punt by Lee Johnson. So Kansas City looks good on defense, and they'll get the ball in good shape. We do have a penalty marker down, and it will be against Kansas City. Penalty against Kansas City, a hold. Gordon McCarter, the referee for today's game.
Well, this penalty will negate some of Kansas City's good field position, but they're still going to have the ball with plenty of room to work.
Holding 55 receiving team during the kick. 10-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
So Lewis Cooper guilty of the hold, and that'll put the ball back to about the 38-yard line. As you look at the Kansas City offensive line, Webster, 16 years, anchors that veteran unit. Jaworski starts for the first time since 1986. Okoye, the 3rd leading AFC rusher. And a first down for the Chiefs. The ball spotted at their own 28-yard line, the 28 of Kansas City. Christian Okoye. Not much there. He got perhaps 2 yards to the 30. Joe Kelly made the stop with help from Reggie Williams. Here's the Cincinnati defense now. Scal with 4.5 sacks, 2nd in the AFC. Kremrei continues his comeback from that broken leg in the Super Bowl. Zander leads the team in tackles, and there in the secondary, Fulcher and Thomas went to the Pro Bowl last year. When the Bengals want to stop the pass, they'll go to their dime defense. White and Zander replaced by Jackson and Bussey for 6 defensive backs. 2nd and 7 for Kansas City. Turnovers have been a problem for the Chiefs in every game, especially on their first possession. Jaworski trying to take care of the ball. He gives it to Okoye, who is hit behind the line and back to the line of scrimmage for no gain. Ricky Dixon from a free safety spot up in a hurry, and then Jim Scal down the line to help out on the tackle of Christian Okoye, who is 6'1", 260 pounds or thereabouts, with a ton of speed as well.
Yep.
Kansas City, we expect to go to their ace offense a lot. They'll get Dressel in as a second tight end with only one running back, Okoye. Herman Hurd will go out when they're in the ace. Marty Schottenheimer's team guilty of 5 turnovers a week ago, and so they've gone to Ron Jaworski, the veteran quarterback. 4 wide receivers in now for Kansas City, 2 to either side, and the Bengals respond with their nickel defense. Jaworski from the shotgun for the first time. Fires it complete for a first down. Kansas City with its initial first down as Stephon Page makes the reception. Stephon Page reported late, signed late, and was just activated before last week's game. The veteran makes the grab here.
Well, he makes a good drive on Lewis Billups, the cornerback, and he'll run a little out pattern. I like that pass protection that Jaworski got that time. Plenty of time to set up and put the ball right on target. That's what the Chiefs will have to do today to sustain any drives. Stop that Bengal defense from penetrating their line of scrimmage. No one has done it yet. Chicago, well, fairly well, but Chicago only scored 17 points on this defense.
See those career numbers on Jaworski, who's playing today in his 171st career game. Okoye. The Bengals seem to be ready for him today as he's stopped for a gain of 1 yard or 2 by Joe Kelly and the center of that Cincinnati defense. It's no secret that Kansas City likes to run the football. Marty Schottenheimer always has had that philosophy, and Christian Okoye a year ago gained 102 yards against Cincinnati, and Schottenheimer wants to run the ball today. He says you have to run it told us yesterday to be successful, you've got to run the football, and you can't fool good teams, he said, referring to the Bengals.
Yeah, he also said we've got to be able to stop Cincinnati's running game, because if you can't stop the run, it's like dying a slow death.
James Saxon replaces Christian Okoye for Kansas City on second down play. The give is to Herman Hurd, and Hurd with his first carry stopped at the 48, just a couple of yards short of midfield and also short of the first down. Joe Kelly with another tackle, and David Grant got a piece of it as well. Hurd has averaged over 4 yards a carry during his career and is the second leading rusher for Kansas City in '89.
Mike Webster, the 16-year veteran, blocks back on David Grant. The ball is over here naturally, and Grant falls back into the play to make the stop after a 5-yard gain. But I mentioned earlier about Webster. He brings leadership, dedication, as well as great mechanics to this offensive line.
3rd and 2. The Chiefs go with double wide receivers to either side. Scoreless game, 9.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Bengals showing blitz. Here they come. Jaworski gets rid of it, and it's incomplete, intended for Todd McNair. Well, Jaworski, for all his strength of arm, is a bit slow-footed. The Bengals put the pressure on him there, and the Chiefs will have to punt on their first possession.
Yeah, but Jaworski came to the right player. McNair is open. Jaworski threw this ball with a little too much heat. It's hard to handle. McNair gets both hands on it and should have caught the pass. He would have had the first down then, Tom. So that's a plus play for Jaworski, I think.
Here's Kelly Goodburn with his first punt for Kansas City. Martin takes it and is dropped at the 15-yard line. Stan Petrie downfield on special teams for the Chiefs. The punt covered 41 yards. We're scoreless in the first quarter. Boomer Esiason on the field for Cincinnati. He's limited with a severely sprained ankle, but he's going to try to go because Turk Schonert shaken up on Cincinnati's first possession.
Well, the report is Schonert has a sprained ankle. You can't really get a good view of where the ankle turns if it is the ankle. But one thing we know is Boomer Esiason is not himself right now. He's not going to be able to operate this offense the way he normally does. There's Schonert getting his ankle taken care of, sitting on the bench. But I know Boomer's ankle is tender, it's sore. He had a tough time even making handoffs, pivoting away from center yesterday. And so we won't see many bootlegs or rollouts, Tom.
Only Kosar is ahead of Esiason in AFC passing efficiency. Sam Weiss said he had maybe his best game as a pro against Cleveland on Monday night, primarily due to his being dangerous as a runner. He won't be able to run today. Checking off at the line of scrimmage. First down play. That's Brooks in motion. He retreats the pass and is sacked. The ball's loose, and the Chiefs have it. Leonard Griffin getting the start today. Came on the blind side to Boomer Esiason to knock the ball loose, and Bill Moss, the veteran nose tackle, fell on it for the first turnover of the game. And Boomer is down. It's not Boomer. Check that. It is not Boomer Esiason. One of the other Bengals. Esiason is leaving the field. One of the offensive linemen, apparently.
Well, it's just good pressure from the left side of your screen. Number 98. Right now, Leonard Griffin gets in there clean and knocks the ball loose. I'll tell you, that's the second time I've seen a Kansas City Chief come clean. This pass protection is coming apart.
All right, the first big break of the game puts Kansas City in scoring territory.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by New Keystone and Keystone Light. Bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great? By Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Zenith. The quality goes in before the name goes on.
The injured Bengal was Anthony Munoz, one of the best offensive lineman in the history of NFL football, and he is gingerly walking off the field.
Well, Leonard Griffin comes from Boomer's blind side, knocks the ball loose. Now look at Munoz's leg. On the bottom right of your screen, you see Leonard Griffin fall into his leg, and he gets it twisted behind him. The ball's loose now, and Bill Moss, number 63, will be able to recover it.
So Munoz injured, adding to the list of walking wounded for the Cincinnati Bengals. Meanwhile, Kansas City has the ball with a first down at the Cincinnati 11. Long count by Jaworski. Okoye. Flag down as Okoye makes it just short of the 5-yard line. Penalty marker on the play. Ricky Dixon making the tackle for Cincinnati. The Kansas City coaches expected Jaworski to do a lot of checking off at the line of scrimmage. And that time, not all the Chiefs were on the same page. Illegal procedure against Marty Schottenheimer's team. There's DeBerg, who was benched today in favor of Jaworski.
Illegal formation, offense. Number 76 is on the end of the line, had not reported. Penalty declined, second down.
Only 6 men on the offensive line. Illegal procedure against Kansas City. So the 5-yard penalty makes it second down now. Well, they declined it. They declined the penalty. Okay, as we look at the 10-minute ticker for the early starting games today. So the Bengals declined the penalty. It'll be second down, 7 to go from the Cincinnati 8. Is the fullback leading the way for Okoye, who actually ran the other way. And there wasn't much there, maybe to the 5-yard line. Leon White, the outside linebacker. Tim Krumrie, the nose tackle. We're ready for Christian Okoye, and it looks like Cincinnati playing that spinner defense again today for much of the game, although down here on the goal line it's a little different. Stopping Okoye.
You know, Jim Scow's having a terrific game so far. Now, this says something about this Bengals defense, and that's legit, folks. They've been playing awfully well, and I don't see any slack in them. They've got the players back there, tremendous speed in the secondary, and the front 4, 3 and 4, and the linebackers are really cohesive.
Anthony Munoz has a sprained right ankle. His return doubtful for Cincinnati. 3rd and 5. 4 wide receivers in for the Chiefs. Jaworski in the shotgun. Jaworski for the end zone, incomplete. Pass was probably intended for Todd McNair. He was closest to it as Jaworski misfires, and the Chiefs will have to settle for a field goal try.
Well, I think you have to give a little credit where it's due. That Bengal secondary did a terrific job of hounding the receivers. Jaworski has plenty of time to try and get the ball there, but hey, that's perfect coverage back there by Leo Barker, the linebacker, on McNair. Terrific coverage.
So Nick Lowry will attempt a field goal. Lowry's hit 5 of 8 this year. 47 has been his longest. This one will be only 23 yards. Bengals had a man jump across the line momentarily, but he's back as Lowry sends it through the uprights. So the Kansas City Chiefs take advantage of the game's first turnover and a Esiason fumble and turn it into a Lowry field goal to take the lead. Next Sunday, join us here on NBC for Week 5 of the NFL season, starting at 12:30 with NFL Live. Some of you will see Buffalo at Indianapolis. Others will see regional action in your area. We urge you to check the local listing for the game and time in your area. Lowry's kickoff taken in the end zone by Ira Hillary, who downs it there. And the Bengals will get the ball at the 20-yard line. Anthony Munoz with a sprained right ankle may not return. Boomer Esiason playing with a sprained left ankle. And Joe, I expect we'll see more of the running game from Cincinnati.
I would think so. Boomer is severely limited with his mobility. I'd also look for Kansas City to try and funnel their defense into the middle of the field. They know Boomer can't get outside, so they'll try and pressure him, keep him in the pocket.
Anthony Munoz has returned. He's on the field for Cincinnati at his customary left tackle spot. Here's Brooks trying the sweep to the 25-yard line. He got 5, maybe 6 yards before Bill Moss tracked him down. So Anthony Munoz, despite the sprained right ankle, is right back out there playing. And Munoz has been to the Pro Bowl 8 straight years, twice the NFL Offensive Lineman of the Year, and right back out without missing a down. Give Brooks 6 yards on that carry. It'll be 2nd and 4. They've got Brooks now at a wide receiver. He's in the far right position. Running play to Eric Ball. Sam Weiss said they wanted to put Brooks wide so that the strong safety of Kansas City has to cover him and therefore can't give run support as Cincinnati tries to move it on the ground.
Well, that's right. What Kansas City would do, Sam Weiss would hope to take their strong safety and put him out there, and they wouldn't have safety support in the running game.
Well, there's Leonard Griffin, 98, who got the start in place of Neil Smith today when Smith couldn't go, and so far he's been the star of the game. Leonard Griffin, the Kansas City defensive lineman. 4 years out of Grambling, a third-round draft choice. Boomer facing 3rd and 3. Brown and Brooks are wide to the right. Brown in motion. Boomer rolling out. This is a surprise. And he'll be forced out of bounds short of the first down. I'm amazed that he was able to have that much mobility. He did come out on the rollout and picked up some yardage, although not enough for the first down.
Well, you know he has a tightly taped ankle, and you know that adrenaline is pumping, so Boomer's playing with pain, but going nevertheless. This surprises me and the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm sure, because Boomer's taking it outside. I just can't believe that we're going to see a steady diet of this, and I know Cincinnati doesn't want to continue to do this. Another good defensive series for these Chiefs.
Good coverage in the secondary by the Chiefs, who lead the AFC in pass defense. Lee Johnson's first punt was not a good one. Pete Manley is deep for Kansas City, back at the 30-yard line. Johnson with a pretty kick this time, a spiraling kick. Well, it does come up a little short. Manley can't handle it, and then one of the up men does grab it for Kansas City, Kevin Ross, at the 35-yard line. It was spiraling through the air and took kind of a funny bounce when it did hit. It'll go for 37 yards officially. Kansas City, again, with pretty good field position with the lead. Tom Hammond and Joe Namath from Arrowhead Stadium, where the Chiefs have a 10-8 lead in this series against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Chiefs have taken 6 of the last 8, and the Bengals have lost 4 in a row here at Arrowhead Stadium. They haven't won here since 1980. Ron Jaworski has hit only 1 of his first 3 passes, as neither offense has been able to get anything going here in the first quarter. Last started back in 1986 when he was with Philadelphia, a team that he took to the Super Bowl during his career with the Eagles. 5:42 left in the first quarter, 3-0 Kansas City. Okoye with a first down run. And a good one. Kept his legs turning even though he was hit at the line of scrimmage and fell forward beyond the 40-yard line. Got about 6 yards before David Fulcher, the strong safety of the Bengals, made the hit. Okoye has carried 6 times for 17 yards as you look at the scores of other games around the NFL. Okoye carries for the 7th time, turns the corner, fights off a couple of tacklers, and will be close to the first down. He's to the 45-yard line. It should be just enough. Ricky Dixon hanging on for dear life with help from David Fulcher, and it takes both of those guys to get Christian Okoye to the turf.
Number 70, Jim Scow, is blocked beautifully by Paulard Caruth. It opens up this hole for Okoye to get some movement outside. A nice block by the running back that the Chiefs picked up recently from the Green Bay Packers. Caruth's a good receiver coming out of that backfield as well.
Kansas City with the first down at their own 45-yard line. Artie Schottenheimer trying to get win number 2 of the season in his first year at Kansas City after coming over from Cleveland. He knows all about these Cincinnati Bengals. Okoye again. Cincinnati are ready for him. Got a yard before David Grant down at the bottom of the stack gets credit for the tackle. He had a lot of help. Cincinnati ready for the Kansas City running game with Christian Okoye carrying the football.
Well, it's a swarming type defense. These guys are so active. They're not big, cumbersome guys. You see all of them flowing with the ball. Skip McClendon. Scow gets blocked, but right now David Grant, 98, is over there to make the play with a lot of help from his friends. This Bengal defense performing beautifully this season, and I thought they did a good job of holding Kansas City to just 3 points after that turnover earlier in the game.
That is the margin. 3-0 Chiefs. 3.5 minutes left in the opening quarter. Stephon Page in motion. Okoye. Christian Okoye into Bengal territory down to the 47 before he stops by Leon White. As the Chiefs continue to pound it on the ground.
Well, the Chiefs would love to be able to keep the ball on the ground, keep Jaworski from getting hit throughout the game. If you can keep that running game going, Jaworski can pass the ball anytime he wants to. And Coach Schottenheimer, like most head coaches, know that the best way to victory is to keep the ball on the ground and keep it away from the other team. They avoid turnovers that way, the lack of interception.
And turnovers have been a big problem. They were -7 last in the AFC coming into today's game. Then one turnover in this one, and Kansas City got it as Cincinnati fumbled. Third down, the Chiefs have converted only 1 of 3. Jaworski pumps and then fires. And a great catch right at the 40-yard line by Pete Manley. Manley went up to get it, and the Chiefs have a first down. Manley, just activated, signed before the San Diego game a week ago, was the #1 receiver for the Detroit Lions in '87 and '88, and he made a nice catch there.
Oh, and I like the way Jaworski kept his cool in the pocket. This offensive line of the Chiefs just does a terrific job right now, and Jaworski read all the way across the field from his right to his left, and of course Manley makes the great catch for the first down.
So Kansas City keeps the drive going. The ball inside the 40 of Cincinnati. Clock down to 1:50 first quarter. Chiefs with a 3-0 lead. And a Lowry field goal after Cincinnati fumble. James Saxon is the only running back now. They fake it to him and give it to Manley on the end around. Manley fighting for yardage short of the 30. As Kansas City goes with a little trickery, handing it to Saxon, who in turn gave it to Manley.
And I think this is one of the reasons we're seeing higher points scored this year. You watch Manley, he's so quick and fast. Lewis Billups on the right side of the screen has a good angle on him, but Manley cuts it back up inside and avoids the tacklers with his quickness and gets that extra yardage. I really believe, Tom, that the size of these wide receivers, the quickness, their ability to make the big plays is the reason we're seeing a much higher point total so far this season.
Kansas City a little banged up at wide receiver. Carlos Carson is injured, and Naz Worthen put on injured reserve this week, and so far Manley has been a welcome addition. Saxon to the 26-yard line. Leon White stops him there. Best drive of the game for either team so far as Kansas City picks up another first down.
Well, Saxon makes a good cut. You see number 75, Irv Eatman, fire out, get downfield, and he tries to get Zander, doesn't really do much of anything. Saxon found the hole inside and jumped back inside because Skip McClendon just, I mean, he whipped the right guard of Kansas City, Dave Lutz, on that play.
Here's a look at Irv Eatman out of UCLA. Was an 8th-round draft choice. 8th play of the drive coming up. First down, Kansas City from the Bengal 26. Caruth now the fullback, with Hurd the tailback, and the gun sounds to end the first quarter before they can get the play off. So that's the end of the first quarter in Kansas City, with the hometown Chiefs holding the advantage on Cincinnati. It's 3-0 Chiefs. First quarter is in the books, and for the Chiefs, old-fashioned ball control football, Joe.
Oh, yes, there's a tremendous difference in time of possession. Of course, the one turnover helped Kansas City get on the scoreboard, but they're doing exactly what Coach Schottenheimer would like them to do. They're keeping the ball away from that dangerous Bengal offense as well as advancing it toward the goal line.
Christian Okoye, the chief ball carrier for Kansas City, has a groin pull, and his return is in doubt, although it is probable he will come back. Right now, Caruth and Saxon. This is James Saxon. Saxon hit and dropped at the 25-yard line. He got a 1.5 yards. Three 3-0 here with Kansas City leading. Let's check the other scores. Browns continue to lead. The safety has the Oilers on top of Miami. Minnesota trying to bounce back from that upset by the Steelers a week ago. Buffalo at home with the lead, and Atlanta on the road at Green Bay. Bernie Kosar hit Webster Slaughter for the 7-0 lead for the Browns, that man's old team. Kansas City with a 2nd and 9. Play-action pass. Jaworski steps up and hit just as he delivered it. It's complete, though, to about the 10-yard line. Pete Manley came back for the football and made the catch. And Manley so far has been a star in this Kansas City offense. Jaworski loved it.
Is he having fun or what? He's getting excellent time back there to come to his receiver. Sure, he gets hit on this just as he releases the ball, but he still gets it right on target there. Look at his pass. Perfect pass. Beautiful. He's having a lot of fun out there this afternoon, and if he keeps getting that kind of pass protection back there, he's going to keep moving his team. Sure, he gets knocked down there, but that's no big deal. He'll take that every play for a completion.
Even a 38-year-old man will take that, huh? He's 3 of 5, 34 yards. And Kansas City, as Jaworski sees something he doesn't like, or the play clock ticking down, and he has to spend a timeout. So Kansas City calls a timeout. It comes with 13:23 left in the first half, and the Chiefs with a 3-0 lead and threatening. Ron Jaworski getting his first start since 1986, has hit 3 of his first 5 passing attempts, and he has Kansas City with a first down at the Bengal 11-yard line. Remember, in the first quarter, Kansas City got down close, but had to settle for a field goal after a Cincinnati fumble. Okoye back in and gets the call. Christian Okoye, touchdown!
Certainly didn't hurt him much on that play. He darted through the hole, all 262 or how many pounds of him. I mean, there was a nice blocking attack up front, but with his speed and power, there was no stopping him that time.
So Jaworski now will hold for Nick Lowry as the Chiefs score the first touchdown of the game on a beautiful drive. Lowry has hit 177 straight point after touchdown. Make it 178 in a row for Nick Lowry. And Kansas City, with the prettiest drive of the game for either team, takes a 10-point lead on Cincinnati. 13-17 left in the half.
NBC sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by the exciting, innovative, unconventional new Spirit of Dodge. By Coors Light, pure brewed in the Rockies. The silver bullet won't slow you down. It's the right beer now. And by Levi's 505 and 506 jeans.
Tom Hammond and Joe Namath at Arrowhead Stadium, where the Chiefs, with a 65-yard drive, have taken a 10-0 lead on Cincinnati. Nick Lowry with the kickoff. Stanford Jennings from the 4. Jennings with a good return. Finally ganged up and stopped at the 30-yard line with Alfredo Roberts leading the special team charge. 27-yard return.
The battle continues in the pits here, Tom. Watch the center, Mike Webster, on Tim Crumride, number 69. He takes him down the line and then just blocks him down to the ground. And, of course, Okoye just is too much of a load for Ricky Dixon to try to handle.
Now get a look at Okoye here from ground level and sense the power.
Oh, he just charges right into his blocker in front of him and runs over him. And look at this. He just keeps shedding tacklers.
10-0 Kansas City. The Bengals with Boomer still at quarterback. And he's going to run up the middle and slide safely down just short of the 40-yard line. Took a couple of hits as he went down.
Well, you have to wonder if all this running around, I know they don't want to worsen the injury that Boomer has, but you have to wonder with all this running around, Sam White's working his team into a hole with Boomer's injury. I can't help but think that this is aggravating his foot. They didn't plan to play him because they didn't feel he could play, and now Boomer changed their mind with his determination to get out there.
On second down, Boomer has Brooks wide to the right. Brown in the slot and now in motion. Eric Ball cuts it back. Ball with a first down to midfield and into Chief territory down to the 47-yard line. For the All-Pro safety, Deron Cherry has to make a saving tackle on the rookie from UCLA. There's Cherry, the perennial Pro Bowler, as Sam Weiss signals in the play.
Now this is why Paul's the #1 draft choice. There's nothing over there on the left side. Watch him cut back here now. He shows that quick burst of speed to take a play that wasn't going to get any yardage at all and turn it into a big gainer. That's why he was the #1 draft choice.
Eric Ball replacing the injured Ickey Woods. Sam Weiss high in his praise of the rookie from UCLA and said they can run this very sophisticated offense without Ball making a single mistake. First down, Cincinnati from the 47 of Kansas City. Caddis is in motion. And the give to Brooks. James Brooks to the 40-yard line, a good gainer. He got 7 on first down, and Cherry has to make the second consecutive tackle. Cleveland continues to lead Denver. Houston has gotten a field goal now, 5-0. Look at that, looks like a baseball score. No, it's 14-3. I thought it was 4-3 for a minute. And you see the other scores are shutouts being pitched at the moment. And here in Kansas City, Sam Weiss's team trailing 10-0, but driving the best drive of the game so far for the Bengals. They're at the 40 with a 2nd and 3. Caddis in motion again. And again, it's a fake to Brooks this time. Esiason to pass. He goes for the end zone. The Kansas City defender ran into the official, and it's a Cincinnati touchdown. Tim McGee was behind the defense as the Kansas City defender tried to close. He collided with an official, and it was an easy Bengal touchdown.
At that, it was an easy touchdown. McGee just ran down the field and then crossed the middle, and the ball is hung up in the air. At the top of your screen, you'll see McGee, number 85. Now he'll break toward the center of the field and just outruns the defenders. But watch number 20, Deron Cherry. Here he runs into the official, the back judge, and he can't catch up to the ball. Had he not hit that official, it was a I wouldn't say poorly thrown pass, but it wasn't out in front of the receiver. I believe Cherry could have gotten to it.
And there was a lot of air under it, and he was closing ground fast before he collided with the official. So Tim McGee has his first touchdown catch of the season, and now Gallery is on to attempt the extra point. And it's good. So that quick strike Bengal offense does its job. McGee with a touchdown catch of an Esiason pass, and suddenly the lead again is reduced to only 3. Kansas City on top. Tim McGee of Cincinnati getting the touchdown catch, covered 40 yards as Cincinnati gets on the board.
At the top of your screen, you'll see Deron Cherry come forward at that play-action fake. The Bengals ran the ball twice. Cherry respects it. Now he runs into the back judge, and you see McGee waiting for the ball to come down. It took a long time, but it adds up to 6 for McGee and the Bengals.
Cincinnati covered 69 yards in only 4 plays. We close it again to a field goal margin.
But you know, Tom, those 3 running plays, I believe the success they had running the football really helped set that play up, because Deron Cherry had to respect that play action, and he came up a good 2 steps on the play action fake, and that was enough to allow McGee to get deep behind him.
There you see Copeland and McNair deep for Kansas City as Lee Johnson set to kick it off, has a holder. A little bit of wind, and he sends a good kickoff back. It'll be taken right at the goal line by Copeland. Copeland looks for a little room and bursts free beyond the 30, finally wrestled down at the 36-yard line by Ricky Dixon. It was a 35-yard return for Copeland of Kansas City.
Once again, look at the top of your screen. Number 20, just in the left center of your screen. Watch him come up on the play-action fake. There he comes right now. Now, that's just enough to get him in an awkward position, a chase position, to try to get back to get to McGee. Had he not bitten on that fake, he would have already been back there deeper and probably would have avoided the official. Here's old Boomer's reaction to the play. Now, he knows it's taken a long time. He said, I'll take it. We got it. That's good enough. Get the high fives now.
Just another day at the office, huh? No problem. Boomer playing with an injured left ankle. He was not expected to play today and came in to relieve Turk Schonert, who was shaken up on the first Cincinnati series. Here's the lineup. Some of you will be seeing Buffalo at Indianapolis next week. Others, Cleveland against Miami, and Cincinnati will take on Pittsburgh. It all starts at 12:30 with NFL Live here on NBC. And, of course, baseball down to the League Championship Series time now. It'll start at 8 o'clock. The Blue Jays against the Athletics. And that'll be on Tuesday night for the first game of the American League Championship Series. the Blue Jays against the A's. And then, of course, the National League Series will begin on Wednesday night as the Cubs will take on the Giants. There's an injured Kansas City player. It may have been Copeland, the man who returned the kickoff. It is Copeland. Marty Schottenheimer has had a rash of injuries the past couple of weeks.
We'll check this replay. We can see Copeland receive the kick, and then he gets a good run back. He finds a little crack in the middle of his blockers right here, breaks it back nicely, then turns on some speed. Can't really tell what's happening here as far as the injury goes. He fell rather hard on his right shoulder, but he's up now on the field, and it appears to be all right.
There is Copeland being helped to his feet. Staggers a little bit as he leaves the field, and maybe just a little groggy after that hit. It was a good return, though, in Kansas City with some good field position beyond their own 35-yard line.
You know, those fields are hard, Tom, and when you fall on them, it hurts sometimes. Now, when you're a 220-pound running back and you're falling with the force of your weight, added another 250 pounds of a defensive player, buddy, that's a pretty hard hit.
And they tell us it's his ribs now. He took a blow to the ribs, and we don't know if he'll return yet or not. Probably will. From the 36, Kansas City with a first down. First down pass by Jaworski is complete to Herman Hurd, who had to go down to the turf to pick it up and try to run again and couldn't. He was covered there by Ricky Dixon, and it's a gain of about 3.5 yards on the play.
Well, the pass is a little bit farther back than the receiver would like it. Jaworski gets time here, but what Jaworski does do is keep the ball on the safe side of the receiver. Rather have the receiver come back for it than throw it to his other side. Hurd tries to get up at Dixon's there. If you throw it to the other side of the receiver, you certainly risk an interception going all the way back for a touchdown.
2nd and 7 for Kansas City. They come with an I formation. Carruth, the fullback, and Okoye, the tailback. Okoye, good blocking. He's got a first down. He's almost to midfield. Ricky Dixon had to make the tackle again. He's still wrapped around Christian Okoye's legs. Again, the offensive line of the Chiefs opening a hole for the big running back Okoye.
Well, that left side just blocks down, and the big tight end makes a huge hole. Irv Eatman, 75, led through the hole for Okoye. Now, Ricky Dixon says, hey, fellas, I need a little more help than this, boys. I don't want to be taking on Okoye one-on-one all afternoon. That's the second time that Ricky Dixon came face-to-face with Okoye storming up the middle.
Okoye had his best NFL rushing game last week against San Diego, 112 yards in a losing cause. First down pass. Plenty of time. Flag down as Jaworski hits his receiver. Whether he was in bounds or not, I don't know. Rob Thomas, the rookie. They'll mark it a catch just inside the Cincinnati 40. Eric Thomas covering Rob Thomas. And a penalty marker, I think, against Cincinnati. It will be a hold against the Bengals.
Okay, there was nothing that Eric Thomas could do on this one.
Holding, number 22, defense. Penalty declined, first down.
Even a little holding didn't help that time. Jaworski had that ball in perfect position for the rookie Thomas to make the catch. What's impressing me now is this pass protection that Jaworski is getting. These Bengals haven't been able to harass Jaworski, and we're almost at halftime. This offensive line of the Chiefs is doing a marvelous job.
9.5 minutes left in the half. Chiefs leading the Bengals 10-7. A run on first down. Okoye has no place to go. Spins away from a couple of tacklers and comes back to the line of scrimmage. Joe Kelly hit Okoye early. He was able to spin free for a moment, but finally taken down.
Well, he took a negative play and at least got back to the yard or the line of scrimmage. Okoye showing a lot of niftiness for a guy his size. Of course, now this is the kind of situation that Coach Schottenheimer doesn't want to be in, a long yardage situation. And the Bengals, you can bet they'll have their ears back and coming hard for Jaworski this play. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little screen or some kind of a trap or draw, Tom.
All right, Jaworski is setting his offense and rearranging it a bit. He set 2 wide receivers to the right, Saxon and the only running back. Harry in motion. Saxon with a handoff. A couple of yards to the 38. Well, there wasn't much imagination on that one.
Well, it was a rather conservative play. They ran a little trap action up the middle, hoping that they'd catch a big hole, because being in that situation, once again, Cincinnati, Kansas City expected a lot of pressure from the Bengals and didn't want to get thrown for a loss, just like now. If they get thrown for a loss, they'd be out of field goal range, and Coach Schottenheimer's thinking about those potential 3 points, too.
Third down coming up, and 10 yards to go for Kansas City. In the backfield, McNair, 4 wide receivers: Harry, Page, Thomas, and Manley. Jaworski again with plenty of time, and he has his man across the middle, Harry, for a complete pass and a Kansas City first down. Emil Harry, the leading receiver for this Kansas City team, making the catch. And there is a penalty marker down. David Fulcher had to make the tackle on Harry, but it looks like it's going to be called back. A penalty against Kansas City.
Holding, number 48, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat third down.
Todd McNair guilty of the hold, nullifying a Chief first down play, and Marty Schottenheimer not very happy with that call.
Well, maybe we'll see it on the right side of the screen. You see McNair in the backfield. Let's see if we do see the holding call. He has his hands outside of the rusher right now, and that's a no-no. You're supposed to pull those hands right in. You see, they don't mind if a blocker gets his hands outside the frame of a defender when he's rushing, but you better hurry up and get your hands off the outside. If you keep it out there, they'll call holding.
McNair, the rookie out of Temple, with a costly penalty, and Kansas City now facing a 3rd and 20 all the way back to the Bengal 49-yard line. On the ground, the handoff to McNair. He's to the 45. What about that call, Joe?
That was a very conservative call, no doubt. Didn't like it. Cincinnati loved it. They're going to get the ball now from the punt, but it certainly did look like too conservative a call. I mean, Jaworski's throwing the ball well, and he's getting excellent protection so far. I would have thought that Coach Schottenheimer would have elected to get the ball farther downfield and possibly set up the field goal.
Instead, it's a Goodburn punt. It hits inside the 15. It'll bound down inside the 5-yard line and be ruled dead at about the 3.5-yard line. Goodburn deadens it inside the 20 for the second time this season. A 43-yard kick that backs Cincinnati up inside the 5-yard line. Let's take a look at our 10-minute ticker again now. Denver has a field goal. Houston now 12-0. New Orleans with a big lead on Washington. In that Jet Indianapolis game, the only touchdown was Eric McMillan taking an interception 92 yards for the Jets touchdown. Boomer Esiason has the ball spotted on his own 3-yard line. And he'll pass from the end zone. Intercepted. Intercepted at the 25-yard line by Kevin Ross of Kansas City. Kevin Ross, with great position defensively, picks off the Esiason pass, the second turnover of the game, both committed by Cincinnati. Second interception of the season, and for Kevin Ross, career pickoff number 19.
And a marvelous play it was. He was on Eddie Brown step for step. Esiason with good protection throws the ball down the middle of the field. You watch the top of your screen, and you'll see Kevin Ross just go high up in the air for the ball. Look at his coverage now. That's excellent coverage. Heck, he was breaking ahead of Eddie Brown on the ball.
You know, this is the #1 pass defense, and they haven't allowed a 300-yard passing day by a rival quarterback in 21 games. First down, Kansas City. The ball spotted at the 26-yard line of Cincinnati. 10-7, Kansas City leading. Plenty of time, Jaworski lost it for nobody. He just threw it away out of the end zone. He had plenty of time, but the coverage for the Bengals very good in the secondary, and Joe Kelly was beginning to work his way back in Jaworski's area, so he just let it go.
I'll tell you, it appears that Jaworski has plenty of time back there, but what's happening is he's setting up and his receivers still have their backs to him. Their routes are taking them farther downfield. Now, you could envision Jaworski. He's set up right now. He's waiting, and this receiver's bringing it back. Jaworski, of course, thought he was going to go deep, or else he just threw the ball away. But they're out of sync a little bit. I think Jaworski's ready ahead of the pass receiver.
We asked Jaworski about the timing with his receivers yesterday, and he said it shouldn't be a problem. He didn't think it would take long to get it back. He did play in preseason. Play action pass here. Jaworski chased out of the pocket. He's going to try to run with it. This is a 38-year-old man, and he's down to the 21-yard line, a gain of 5. Well, Ron Jaworski coming over this year from Miami. He said he came here because he had a chance to compete for the #1 job and a completely new offense. We asked him to give us a typical play.
You know, they get called to pressing that 30-second, 45-second clock at times, and here's what the quarterback has to say at the huddle very often. Move 2, flip, hip, hum. In, fake 39, Z reverse right on 2. And I tell you what, some of the guys in the huddle don't hear it the first time. It's not like they could call it once. They have to call this thing twice. If they don't get that play from the sidelines quickly, well, they have to waste the timeout.
You said that well, kind of like you've done it before. Jaworski,
about a few thousand times.
On 3rd and 6. Delivers it complete. The pass to Manley. Manley fighting for extra yardage inside the 10-yard line of Cincinnati, where he has a first down. Robert Jackson chased Manley out of bounds, but the recent addition as a free agent has been a big part of the offense for the Chiefs today.
Good pass protection once again for Ron Jaworski, and Pete Manley just runs a good little stop route. Ricky Dixon can't quite handle him. Dixon, as good a cover man as he is, he doesn't face one-on-one coverage, Tom, as often as we've been seeing him get it today. He's usually back in the hole as a free safety.
Jaworski standing in the pocket and getting the ball away. And Manley making a nice catch and a nice move afterward. First down and goal from the 8-yard line. Okoye. Just short of the 5-yard line. Stopped by the defensive line of the Bengals. Scow from Ryan Buck. Skip McClendon is also in there on the near goal line situation. It'll be 2nd and goal coming up for Kansas City. Ron Jaworski, when he started his first game in the NFL, well, Gerald Ford was the president. Chevy Chase was still on Saturday Night Live. Jaws, Jaworski's nickname, was a big hit movie, and Derek Thomas, the Chiefs rookie, was in the 3rd grade. Okoye hit behind the line, dropped back at the 6-yard line. Good penetration by the Cincinnati defense, and Jim Scow was right there to meet Christian Okoye when he got the handoff.
Oh, Scow loved that play. I mean, there wasn't a red helmet anywhere close to him. No one laid a hand on Jim Scow. He just came out of his stance on the bottom left side of your screen. There's Scow. There's not a red helmet on Scow. He has a clear path to Okoye. It'd like that to happen every play. Hey, forget about me, blockers. Just let me run around out here and try and tackle some people.
Scow's had a big season, 2nd in the AFC in sacks with 4.5 coming into this game. And don't forget, we'll be picking a Budweiser MVP in this game, and that'll come up at the conclusion of the contest. 3rd and goal from the 5. Jaworski, complete. Touchdown, Kansas City. Rob Thomas, the rookie, making his first professional touchdown as Jaworski delivers and celebrates.
Well, I'm impressed. That Polish rifle is back, Tom. He's throwing some strikes and having a lot of fun. Look at the rookie. Rob Thomas, touchdown catch. I just can't help feel good for Ron Jaworski. I know he's having a great time out there. You folks back in Cincinnati aren't very happy right now, but you don't have to worry about these Bengals. They're going to come back.
Rob Thomas with his first professional touchdown, and Lowry tries to put on another extra point. There's a flag down. One of the Bengals jumped offside and maybe made contact.
Since nothing happened, couldn't he just apologize and say, let's start over?
It's not going to make any difference to Lowry, is it? Would be half the distance to the goal. Would be at the 1.5. Unless it's against Kansas City.
12 start, offensive center, 5-yard penalty. repeat the try.
Well, it is against Kansas City, as Mike Webster, the veteran, made a false start. I don't know how the center does that. I guess when he moves and doesn't snap the ball.
Yeah, I think that's Paul Jeton in there. Oh, no, wait, that's the Cincinnati guy, right? He said, what am I talking about? Is Webster snapping on these?
Or it might be Michael Morris, who sometimes is the kick center.
Yeah.
It is Morris. Morris is the kick center. And Lowry's kick is good. The extra 5 yards makes no difference at all. Kansas City with another pretty drive against the Cincinnati defense, culminated by a pass reception by rookie Rob Thomas for the TD.
Rob Thomas will be coming from the right side, crossing your screen, and he catches this ball and sails all out, leaps into the end zone, just barely breaks that plane before he's knocked back onto the playing field. Just enough for the touchdown.
Rob Thomas, the rookie out of Oregon State. And Ron Jaworski celebrates another touchdown pass.
All right, he's happy. He's been smart with that ball today, too, Tom. He hasn't had it around the Bengal defenders. He's been putting it in all the right places for his people to get to and not letting the Bengals have a chance at it.
You know, that's the 178th touchdown pass by Jaworski. Coming up at halftime, Costas, Simpson, and company to bring you all the scores and highlights on NFL Live. Well, the Chiefs wanted to control the ball. Rob Thomas ready to line up on special teams coverage on the kickoff. So far, the time of possession, Joe, over 19 minutes for Kansas City, just 6.5 for Cincinnati. And that's one of the reasons for that 17-7 Kansas City lead.
Sure, you know, Kansas City didn't take much time, or excuse me, Cincinnati didn't take much time when they did score. They had the big bomb from Boomer Esiason to McGee, and other than that, that's all the offense they've had all day. This Kansas City defense of Marty Schottenheimer's is doing a terrific job.
That last touchdown set up by an interception, covered 26 yards. And Lowry is ready to kick off. Jennings and Hillary deep for Cincinnati. Nick Lowry has the ball blow off the tee. Johnson of Cincinnati had to get a holder a moment ago, and looks like Lowry will ask for one, too. Nick Lowry, the veteran kicker out of Dartmouth, was a teammate of Reggie Williams in Hanover, New Hampshire during his college days. Sam Weiss was afraid his team might be a little flat. He said you have to approach this game as if you were playing a playoff team, and he thought Kansas City was good. He said they thought they would win 10 games this year. And Stanford Jennings takes it for the Bengals, and his hit bounces off, keeps going to about the 22. So Sam Weiss was wary of a letdown after a big win over Cleveland on Monday. So far, Kansas City has been the more aggressive team. Kenny Hill with that tackle after a 23-yard return by Jennings.
I don't think Coach Weiss or his Bengals could help having a letdown after last Monday night's game against the Cleveland Browns. It was an enormous game over there in Cincinnati, filled with emotion, a big win for Sam's Bengals, and sure, he talked to them all week long about having respect for Kansas City and getting up for it, but the emotional level is tricky to find sometimes.
That turnaround of last season garnered Coach of the Year honor for Sam Weiss. James Brooks on first down. Carries for 3 yards. Cincinnati with about 57 yards rushing on the day so far, and Kansas City with 80 yards on the ground. 3 minutes left in the first half. Cincinnati in the attack offense now, going with no huddle. Sam Weiss calling for the attack as the clock ticks inside 3 minutes first half. His team down by 10. Caddis in motion. Brooks. James Brooks is stopped by the center of that Kansas City line. Mike Junkin down at the bottom of the stack, number 51, as Brooks gets short yardage, if any. He's carried 6 times for 27 yards so far, as Sam Weiss, just like his counterpart across the field, Marty Schottenheimer, wanted to run the football and able to win this game today. Here's the attack again. Boomer calling the play at the line. Part of this very sophisticated Cincinnati offense. And now the whistles blow, and we've come to the 2-minute warning. So it'll be a delay before Boomer gets the play called, and we'll be back to Kansas City in a moment. Versus when we huddle, he said no difference at all. We drill them so much in it that it's automatic. Boomer to pass. Downfield intended for Brown, and he makes a great catch. Comes back to the football. Albert Lewis tries to chase him down and finally gets him out of bounds. Eddie Brown came back to make the catch and then turned it into a big gainer for Cincinnati. Eddie Brown, the Pro Bowl receiver who signed late for Cincinnati. That's only his 4th reception of the season. It covered 37 yards.
Watch Brown get his hand over here on Lewis, push him a little bit and make a nice catch right in the midsection, then get some extra yardage. It really wasn't bad coverage by Lewis, but Eddie Brown just made a marvelous play.
So Cincinnati now with a first down deep in Kansas City territory to the 28-yard line. 17-7 Kansas City, a minute 49 left in the half. Eddie Brown in motion. The give is to Eric Ball, and Ball with a good gainer inside the Chief 20. He picked up 10, maybe 11 yards. Derek Thomas, the fellow rookie, making the tackle on Ball.
Well, I love this attack offense, Tom. I know it keeps the defense off balance. These defensive players say that Cincinnati's attack doesn't change their thinking. The heck it doesn't. They have more things to think of out there. They're worried about what plays Boomer's going to run. They're matched up. They're waiting around. They're not used to standing there waiting around. 2 plays earlier when the two-minute clock caught us, Kansas City was in the wrong defense. Derek Thomas running around not knowing where he was going.
2nd and 1 for Cincinnati. Boomer with time finds a man. Complete inside the 5 to Rodney Holman, the tight end. He lugs it all the way to the 1-yard line. Chris Martin, the linebacker, having to cover the tight end Rodney Holman. It's an 18-yard gain, and the Bengals are knocking on the door. Kansas City with a minute 7. Cincinnati stopping the clock with a timeout. Here's that last pass to Rodney Holman.
Oh, good blocking. Rodney Holman, I don't know that he's underrated as a tight end, but he is sensational, not only in a blocking game for running, but also in pass receiving. There he just fought off the linebacker, Chris Martin, 57, and found the open spot. And all of that was able to come through because of that offensive line protection Boomer had that time.
The Bengals go to their Weeby offense now. That's 7 big offensive linemen in there close to the goal line. And why do they call it Weeby? He said, well, Weeby scoring touchdowns. That's what Sam White says. Give it to Ball, trying to turn the corner. He's got the touchdown. Eric Ball, the rookie out of UCLA, with his 3rd professional touchdown. As Sam Weiss's team with a great drive just before halftime.
Sam White said Eric Ball did play air free football last week, Tom. He picked up all his blitzes, didn't have any fumbles, no assignment mistakes, and he can carry that rock. I mean, he put on a burst of speed to get outside that time that really made that play work. It was all speed.
Gained nearly 2,000 yards at UCLA, 8th leading rusher in the Bruins history. Gallery's extra point attempt is good. So the Cincinnati Bengals with a quick strike, and once again have narrowed the Kansas City lead to only a field goal. A minute 2 left in the half. Here's the touchdown.
Left side of your screen, number 78, Anthony Munoz blocks down, and you see James Brooks right there throwing the block on Kevin Porter, 27, that allowed his running mate Ball to get to the end zone. Another facet of Brooks' all-pro play.
Well, they were scoring. The Weebies got it done once again for the Cincinnati Bengals, who covered 75 yards in only 6 plays. 2 minutes, 13 seconds of possession time. Ball with a 2-yard run to make it 17-14 Kansas City. Just over a minute left in the opening half. Well, we've seen a contrast in offensive styles today. Kansas City with the long sustained drives, hoping to keep the ball away from that explosive Bengal offense. But the Bengals, when they've gotten it, have gotten the quick strike. So Marty Schottenheimer with just over a minute to try to get something back for his team. Coming up at halftime, Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson will head the group at NFL Live, and the Insiders will have an extra edition coming up at halftime. Bobby Beathard and Ralph Wiley will talk, among other things, about the proliferation, that's easy to say, of scoring in the NFL so far this season. It has been a high-scoring first 3 weeks plus of the NFL season. The games this week, Joe, don't seem to be quite so high-scoring, looking at the games that are taking place so far, but the verdict not yet in, so...
Yeah, you know, that theory about those little receivers, I had dinner with Marty Schottenheimer last night. That's one of the subjects we were talking about, all these points being scored. He said, Joe, these little receivers are so fast and so quick. We're getting the ball to them more often these days, and they're just making bigger plays, more big plays than we've had in the past.
Lee Johnson will kick off for Cincinnati. Saxon and McNair are deep, and this is Saxon. Saxon came in to replace Copeland, who bruised his ribs earlier. And he's knocked down at the 16-yard line by Chris Barber on special teams for the Bengals.
Well, what Kansas City wants to do right now is not turn the ball over, certainly. They'd like to even get out of this half with the slight lead of 17-14. Now Cincinnati has the momentum, but Kansas City certainly doesn't want to give them any more fire by stopping the clock. They don't want to get caught into a must-punt situation either, Tom.
Kansas City has gotten 10 of their 17 points off Cincinnati turnovers. A fumble led to a field goal, and an interception led to a Kansas City touchdown. Jaworski hitting on 70%. He has the ball at his own 16. 4 wide receivers on the field, 3 of them set to the right. Jaworski lets it fly. Harry goes down to one knee to make the catch. It'll be marked just about at the first down sticks. Robert Jackson covered Harry, but he did make the catch. Kansas City takes its second timeout, stopping the clock with 48 seconds left.
You know, that does surprise me. We just saw a series ago where Kansas City had third down at about 17 yards, and they run a little draw play up the middle for nothing. We thought they would take a chance and go downfield with the ball. Here it's just the opposite. You know, I figure they're going to be happy to get out of the half with a 17-14 lead. They're backed up in their own territory, and they're going against one of the best defenses in all of football, and yet they're putting the ball up. I haven't been able to figure that out yet, folks.
Jaworski huddling with the Kansas City Brain Trust. He's had a good first half. He was really excited yesterday as we talked to him about getting the starting job. He was just like a little kid, and I think he said earlier in the week he felt like a 16-year-old. He said if you could cover up that 38-year-old body, you'd see the actions of a 16-year-old.
Tell you, we were down on the field at about 10:15 this morning. Jaworski was out there throwing passes. He must have thrown 200 balls this morning before the team came out for warm-ups. They talk about how strong his arm is. You better hope it doesn't get tired for that fourth quarter.
He's got a first down now at his own 26-yard line, 48 seconds left, and 1 timeout remaining. His Chiefs with a 3-point lead. Jaworski again completes it to Emil Harry, and he's out of bounds at the 40-yard line, a 14-yard gain, and another Kansas City first down. This one stops the clock at 43.
Oh, Kansas City does a good job of blocking a 5-man rush by the Bengals this time, and Jaworski just puts the ball in the perfect spot out there. I mean, Jaworski is just hitting on all cylinders right now. He hasn't thrown a bad pass.
Joey's 9 of 12 for 90 yards, including a touchdown, and he is having fun.
Look at that, nothing to it.
We asked him how long he continued to play, and he said, well, he evaluated at the end of the season. We asked Mike Webster the same question. He said, well, I will play this week.
Game to game.
Jaworski's pass too high and intercepted. Intercepted by Cincinnati. That was not a good pass by Ron Jaworski. Ryan Fulcher was able to get it on the tipped ball. There is a penalty marker down.
There's a penalty.
David Fulcher was back there playing center field and in perfect position to catch the tip.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 98 on the defensive team after the interception. 15 yards from here, first down.
So the interception will stand, but David Grant of the Bengals, 98 in the white, is guilty of the personal foul, which will put them back out of scoring territory.
Well, he gets good time back here, Jaworski does, but he lets the ball go a little bit high, and it gets tipped off the receiver's hands, and Fulcher's happily waiting for it. Let's see if we can find number 98 here in the medley. I don't see anyone around there, but that's a big penalty. That takes him 15 yards farther away from potential field goal range, and there are only 35 seconds left on the clock.
Doesn't take Boomer long, though, to get it downfield. They do have 2 timeouts remaining. Clock shows 35 seconds. Kansas City with a 3-point lead. Cincinnati with the ball after the first chief turnover at its own 38. Esiason stands in there, delivers it short to Ball. Ball spins for a gain of about 6. Mike Junkin covers Ball after he made the reception. And Cincinnati calls a timeout to stop it with 24 seconds left. That's the second Cincinnati timeout. They'll have 1 remaining.
A lot of time left for this Cincinnati offense to get in position. Excellent blocking for Boomer Esiason. Now he's just going to drop it off to his left over here to Eric Ball, and the linebackers all converge on Ball to keep him in the middle of the field and keep him short of the first down. But I really have to question the wisdom of Kansas City trying to get that thing going there against this fine Bengal defense. A little errant pass by Jaworski, and right now you put Kansas City with auto momentum going into halftime.
Boomer Esiason with a tender ankle, and if you just joined us, he didn't start today's game. Turk Schonert started in his place, but Schonert twisted an ankle on the first series. Boomer was forced onto the field, and that has to hurt as those defensive men take a shot at that ankle on every down. Boomer's hit 4 of 5, 107 yards, a touchdown, and 1 picked off. Let's see the situation here. Esiason downfield, and the catch made. Will it be ruled inbounds or not? Yes, catch made inside the 35-yard line. The catch made by Mike Martin, who just was able to drag his feet and get him inbounds. Albert Lewis was beaten on the play.
I have to believe we're going to see this again. In the meantime, whether it was it's a good catch, Martin just stretched right out there and made a beautiful catch. Give him credit.
Cincinnati ready to go right at the line of scrimmage. It was a delayed call, and now the replay official's going to have a look at it. It took a minute for the crew on the field to rule whether it was a catch or not.
On the field, we completed pass at the spot indicated. The play is being reviewed.
Gordon McCarter filling us in on what is happening upstairs in the replay booth, where Chuck Eberling, former NFL referee, is the replay official today.
Well, it's a great effort by Martin and a fine catch whether he's in or not. You folks judge for yourself at home. Does he have 2 feet down in bounds? He has to have 2 feet down in bounds before it's good, and that appears to be an incomplete pass.
Judging from that view, it does appear to be incomplete. He has 2 feet in here, but not possession of the ball. Now he has the ball, and the feet did not come down in bounds. That should be an incomplete pass. Sam Weiss awaiting the decision. So is Boomer. Schottenheimer's already made up his mind. One more time.
Well, the rule is, folks, both feet have to be down in bounds unless the receiver is knocked out of bounds by a defensive player. The defensive player doesn't do any harm here or even touch the receiver, it appears, and I'm afraid he is out of bounds, even though it is a fine catch. Good effort, fine catch.
The play is ruled incomplete pass. Will repeat second down at the previous spot.
And it is overruled, ruled incomplete. And the ball will go back. Well, that puts Cincinnati in good position for at least a field goal. Now they'll back the ball up back into Bengal territory at the 46-yard line.
I was watching that field goal kicker gallery of Cincinnati warm up before the game, and I'll tell you, he was hitting some field goals that were close to 60 yards.
There's Gallery. Gallery number 18 has a good strong leg. His accuracy comes into question sometimes. This is a 3rd down play now, 3rd and 2. Pressure on Esiason. He's sacked. Leonard Griffin, having the game of his life, comes in to get Boomer Esiason. It's the third sack of the day for the Kansas City defense.
Leonard Griffin made the play, but that play was set up by the relentless rush of the rookie linebacker Derek Thomas around Anthony Munoz. He forced Boomer up into the pocket where Griffin could get hold of him. That's what Thomas does best. Look on the left side of your screen. You'll see Derek Thomas run around Anthony Munoz and then force Boomer up into the pocket, and here you have Mr. Griffin waiting for him.
Sam Weiss liked the matchup. He tried to engineer that matchup of Munoz blocking on the rookie Thomas today. That time it didn't work out as Thomas beat Munoz to the outside.
And let's remember, in defense of Munoz, he was injured in that first quarter. He could have a bit of a problem with his leg. Even at Munoz's best, he's got to perform at his very best to keep up with the speed of Derek Thomas.
Thomas, the first-round draft choice out of the University of Alabama, was the fourth player taken in the draft this year. In fact, the first linebacker taken by Kansas City in the first round ever.
Now, you know, right now, Tom, there are about 10 seconds left on the clock. I can see Kansas City giving it an all-out rush trying to block the punt. Don't even put a return man back there. Send 11 guys after the ball.
Lee Johnson is the punter, and you called it, Joe. There are 11 men up on the line of scrimmage. Kansas City's going after him. And Johnson gets it away. The ball will sail and bound into the end zone untouched. 2 seconds left, and the clock continues to tick. The whistle hasn't blown, and the first half will come to an end on that Lee Johnson punt. Sam Weiss, fighting off the injuries in this game, has seen his Bengals commit a couple of turnovers that led to 10 points for Marty Schottenheimer and his Kansas City Chiefs. Well, these two always play exciting games, and Kansas City has a habit of beating Cincinnati here. The Bengals haven't won here since 1980, and this game, a very contentious first half. It comes to an end with Kansas City on top, the Chiefs 17 and the Bengals 14. We'll be ready for halftime activities in just a moment.
BC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by
9 Super Bowl. Lee Johnson ready to kick to get the second half underway. Saxon and McNair deep for the Chiefs. Saxon midway in the end zone will down it there. So the Chiefs will start from their own 20-yard line as Ron Jaworski heads back out on the field. Jaworski in the top 20 all-time in the NFL in attempts, completions, and passing yards. 9 of 13 in the first half for 90 yards, a touchdown, and that one interception we mentioned a couple of moments ago, which, as it turns out, didn't hurt the Chiefs.
I have to believe, too, the more Jaworski plays, the sharper he's going to get, Tom. He's getting the feel, the tempo back. You know, it's been a month since Jaworski has been out there in this up-tempo, full-speed scale game, and he's getting it back. I think we're going to see him perform even better.
He told us yesterday the biggest adjustment was to the fast tempo of the game. He said it just passes so quickly that you have to react instinctively. You don't have time to think. He's going to pass on first down, and he lofts it high, intended for Page, who makes the catch at midfield. Stephon Page, streaking down the field, had a step on Lewis Billups and pulled it in at the 49-yard line of Cincinnati for a 31-yard gain, and he keeps that string of receptions going.
Well, somebody should be telling Lewis Billups, ball, ball. Lewis Billups on the right side of your screen is in perfect coverage. He's step for step right there, but he just doesn't know the ball's coming. You have to get some help from your friends on the inside. Another safety, Fulcher, someone on the inside, Dixon, say, Lewis, ball, ball. If he turns around that time, he might have an interception.
Well, Stephon Page with a big catch. You know, he set an NFL record with 309 receiving yards back in 1985, and he gives the Chiefs a first down in Cincinnati territory. And a flag immediately flies down as the play clock ticks away. 5-yard delay of game.
Delay of game, offense, 5 yards, still first down.
Well, that really caught Jaworski by surprise that time. He wasn't hurrying at all. Thought he had plenty of time, but remember, as soon as that ball's caught and the official gets over there at the end of the play, that 45-second clock starts right away, Tom.
Penalties really haven't been much of a factor in terms of their severity, although a couple have been untimely in the game. With Jaworski facing a 1st and 15, the ball stepped back into Chiefs territory, back on the other side of the 50. A new play came in, we noticed too. Stephon Page came back in with it. It's a running play to Okoye. Fights his way back to midfield and back to the original line of scrimmage. Give him 5 yards before he's tackled by Joe Kelly.
Pretty smart blocking for Okoye that time. It didn't look like a fancy play, and it wasn't. But meantime, Okoye is able to gain 5 yards. Put the Kansas City back in a 2nd and 10 situation. Here is old Christian Okoye.
From Nigeria, who played at Azusa Pacific, and he squats 725 pounds. That's more than the entire Bengal defensive line, I think. Only playing football for the 6th year, 3 in college and 3 as a pro. Played soccer when he was growing up in Nigeria, and of course is a well-known track star, and decided to play football when he didn't make the Nigerian Olympic team. Jaworski's pass. First down, Kansas City inside the 35 of Cincinnati. Pete Manley kept his feet in and made the grab, again picking on Louis Billups.
Absolutely marvelous pass by Ron Jaworski. The Polish rifle gets excellent protection back there. Look at this blocking scheme by the Chiefs. There's not a Bengal around Jaworski, and then he puts the ball in the perfect spot on the outside for his receiver.
Pete Manley's having a big game, too. As we noted earlier, the Chief receiving corps banged up, and Manley, who came over from Detroit as a free agent now after being released for the Lions, down the spot. First down from the 34 of Cincinnati. First series of the second half, Kansas City leads by 3. Jaworski maybe changed the play. Lost it. Thomas can't get it. Good defense that time by Billups. Once again, they tried Louis Billups, and this time he made the play. And he wants a foul on Kansas City.
Well, he was in good position, and Rob Thomas, the rookie wide receiver right here from Oregon State, made a good move for the ball. It appears he's wearing some kind of knee brace there, and it certainly doesn't look natural the way he's walking, but Thomas did a good job of taking the interception away from Louis Billups.
So the receiver became a defensive player in this case, preventing the interception.
Sure, watch him go over the top of Billups here. He's playing the ball all the way, you see, and he almost makes the catch, but that was a good effort by Thomas that kept Billups from intercepting the ball. I think it's a clean play all the way. Of course, there at the end of the play, Thomas appeared to have hold of Billups' face mask, and I think that's what Lewis was talking about.
And as they were both going down, he had a brief hand to the face mask as Thomas gets some attention for that leg, which he twisted as he came down. Ron Jaworski back at the line of scrimmage with a 2nd and 10. He's hit 11 of 16 so far in the game, 137 yards. Herman Hurd on the pitch. Does a little move and gets outside and gains close to the first down. Eric Thomas, the cornerback, coming up to make the hit on Herman Hurd. Forced him out of bounds after Hurd picked up about 9 yards.
I'll tell you, big number 76, John Alt, the left tackle for Kansas City. Watch him at 308 pounds. He'll get out there on Joe Kelly, the linebacker. There you see 76 on Kelly, the linebacker, and was able to keep Kelly out of the play for the big gainer.
Herman Hurd did a good job of using that interference, too, as you look at 76, John Alt.
6'7", 300 pounds, huh? And he was moving like a deer.
First-round draft choice in his 6th year out of Iowa.
Slow deer.
More like a moose. Here's Okoye one-on-one against the secondary. He's to the 10. Eric Thomas was life and death to bring down big Christian Okoye, who rumbled all the way inside the 10-yard line.
Well, Eric Thomas did a good job. He didn't leave his feet. He stayed up high with Okoye and was hoping to get some help from his friends. Okoye will break it toward us. There's a huge hole outside here as everyone seems to be pushed down to the left. And now Thomas is just going to try and hold on until he gets some help from his friends.
16 yards for Okoye, who showed us the power as the blocking of Kansas City continues to pay off.
Oh, good drive blocking inside. Jonathan Hayes, number 85, the tight end, made a good seal block on the outside that opened the hole for Okoye.
Well, some sort of mix-up. Kansas City has to spend a timeout. Timeout Chiefs threatening to add to their lead.
NBC sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Honda, who invites you to test drive the all-new Accord at your Honda dealership starting October 5th. By Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by the Upjohn Company. If you're concerned about hair loss, see your doctor.
Tom Hammond and Joe Namath in Kansas City. Tom Roy, our producer. J.D. Henson, our director. Kansas City with a 1st and goal from the 9-yard line. This is the 7th play of a drive that so far has covered 71 yards. Hayes and Dressel, 2 tight ends. This is the ace formation for Kansas City. Okoye, the lone running back. Play action pass. Jaworski hits his receiver, Dressel. And Dressel fumbles the football. Cincinnati's claiming possession. Let's see what the officials say. Will be Cincinnati's ball inside the 1-yard line. David Fulcher recovered the football after Dressel fumbled inside the 1. Marty Schottenheimer was bemoaning turnovers yesterday as he talked to us, and this is a very costly one.
Well, it appears Dressel wraps the ball up as he's trying to get into the end zone. He hasn't put it away yet, but he has it tucked away now. And, boy, that's just a good hit by Louis Billups that knocks the ball loose.
Billups makes the hit. Fulcher recovers, and Jaworski, who has had a smile on his face most of the afternoon, can't believe his fate here as the Chiefs fumble inside the Cincinnati 1. Second turnover of the day, that evens them up. 2 apiece, the second one there by Kansas City.
Second. Thank you.
Gordon McCarter calling for some more time on the play clock. Boomer Esiason now with the ball inside his own 1-yard line. Ball to the 4-yard line. Give him 3. There's big Anthony Munoz, 78, clearing out a path for Eric Ball, as strong safety Kevin Porter had to come up to make the tackle. There's Munoz, number 78, who twisted an ankle earlier, and the next series was right back on the field.
Well, Munoz and his buddies all try to just push everyone down to the right, and Eric Ball will try to cut back toward us. There's not a lot there, but enough to get him out from the shadow of his own goal line.
Over with a 2nd and 7, rearranging his players. See if the crowd can be a factor here. No indication yet that it's too much for Boomer to call the play. He's going to pass from the end zone. And the pass is complete to Holman. Rodney Holman, the tight end, got coverage from the linebacker, Chris Martin, and beat him downfield for about 30 yards, 28 to be exact. As Rodney Holman, who had several clutch receptions against the Browns on Monday night, once again hooks up with Boomer Esiason for a big gainer.
Boy, this is quarterbacking at its best. Under heavy pressure, Holman is covered fairly well by Chris Martin, but watch where Boomer Esiason puts this pass. Right there, the only place that Holman could get it and away from the receiver. Excellent pass and a nice catch by Holman.
First down, Cincinnati at their own 32-yard line. This drive started inside the Bengal 1. Brooks cuts back, hit at the 35-yard line. Gain of 4, Walker Lee Ashley making the tackle for Kansas City. There's Walker Lee Ashley in his 6th year out of Penn State, a Plan B free agent who came over from the Vikings in the offseason, played 5 years in Minnesota. Was a starter for the Vikings. Here's the attack offense. Boomer calling the play at the line. It's a 2nd and 6. Everybody comes in to listen to Boomer as he calls the formation, the play, the line blocking. Now they get set. Brooks. Boomer barely got there to make the handoff, and Brooks only gains a couple of yards. Bill Moss, the Pro Bowl nose tackle, was there to meet him. Boomer, with that bum ankle, barely reached Brooks in time to get in the ball.
You're right, Tom. They nearly left that one on the ground. Brooks was able to hold on to it and get up in there, but the pursuit of Kansas City with Ashley and Moss was very good that time. They're in the attack offense, of course. But Kansas City has them in a 3rd down and 5 situation right now.
Sometimes say when you start a series on your defense against Cincinnati, just plan on playing that whole defense because of this attack. You can't make the substitutions for situations. Play action pass. Boomer pumps once, then finds the receiver Brooks. Brooks has just enough for the 1st down, but there is a penalty marker. Chris Martin made the hit on Brooks, and Brooks is still down. Many think James Brooks is the key to this Cincinnati offense.
Holding 64 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
Bruce Kazurski is guilty of the hold.
Well, we'll take a look. Look in the center of your screen. See what Kazurski's doing here. Number 64. He's blocking on Saleamua right now, number 97. And that's why he's called for holding. And let's see what happens to James Brooks. Oh, my goodness. Chris Martin just laid a tremendous lick on James Brooks.
James Brooks still down. Kazurski with a holding call. Cincinnati will try again. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the Kansas City Chiefs and the National Football League is prohibited. This game the property of the NFL, the Bengals and Chiefs, all rights reserved. 3rd and 14 for Cincinnati. Brooks replaced by Stanford Jennings, Mr. Do-Everything for the Bengals. Mayor Anthony Munoz got a head start, and he'll be called for illegal procedure.
Ball start, 78, offense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
It'll be 3rd and 19 now for Cincinnati.
Well, Munoz and also on the left side, Rodney Hallman will both go ahead and leave about the same time here, but they're the only 2 players to leave.
Boomer rolls out. Lofts it, intercepted, and then dropped. Duron Cherry had it for a moment, couldn't handle it. He might have been out of bounds anyway. It'll go incomplete, intended for Tim McGee. So the Kansas City defense holds after the offense had fumbled inside the 1, and the Chiefs will get the ball back. There's the all-pro free safety Duron Cherry, who batted that one away and almost had the interception. Boomer knows he got away with one that time. Johnson's punt, fielded by Manley. Manley with a seam to midfield. All the way to the 47 of Cincinnati. A good return by Pete Manley. Barney Bussey finally made the tackle for Cincinnati. Manley was only about 3 players from breaking it all the way. A 20-yard return after Johnson's punt had covered 41 yards. I'm impressed with Manley today.
They're getting their money's worth here. He hasn't been around long. He's worked right into this attack, running back these punts, and as well as catching some passes. Boy, that's, I guess you could call that either bad tackling or good running.
Maybe a little of each, huh?
Which way you want to look at it.
Kansas City with a 1st down in Cincinnati territory. Crowd of nearly 60,000 on a beautiful afternoon in Kansas City. Temperatures in the low 80s and not a cloud in the sky. Jaworski hands to Okoye, hurdles a couple of players, gains 4 yards. David Fulcher, the very good, strong safety of the Bengals, comes up and gets some help from Jason Buck to get Okoye down. Cleveland with a 13-6 lead in that game between those 2 clubs that have had some very good ones in recent years. Pittsburgh, after looking horrible in the first 2 games, on the verge of winning its 2nd in a row. They have a touchdown lead anyway. Buffalo putting it all over New England. 2nd and 6. Ron Jaworski under center. Christian Okoye has carried 17 times for 77 yards. This one will be a pass, however, as Jaworski looks down the sideline and throws for Manley. Overthrown and intercepted by Billups. The pass was too long. 2nd interception of the day by Ron Jaworski. And Billups picks it off. Lewis Billups had 5 interceptions last year.
Well, Jaworski overthrows Mandley this time. Billups is in excellent position, and I don't think Mandley has a chance to get to the ball. And I'm not sure he was going deep in the first place, but it looks like Billups was the intended receiver.
So Kansas City once again turns it over. We're in the third quarter with 9:10 left. Chiefs by 3. Kansas City coach Marty Schottenheimer was talking yesterday about turnovers, and he said as long as you don't give the other team gifts, you have a chance to win the game. And he said to correct the interception problem which the Chiefs have been having, that 1, your receivers had to be precise in their routes. 2, you have to pass protect. And 3, your quarterback has to use good judgment. Which one did they violate on that last interception, Joe?
Well, I think that was a good defensive play by Louis Lips. Sometimes the defense does create things. Not being able to tell whether the receiver Mandley had run the right pattern or not, I'm not sure, Tom, but it was a good play by Lips. Or Lips, Louis Lips, yeah, Billups.
Cincinnati after the interception with a first down at their own 10-yard line. Ball. Gain of 2. James Brooks, remember, on the last series was shaken up a bit. And he's still on the sideline. Eric Ball takes over the ball-carrying duties, and he's done a good job in it. Number 3 rusher for the Bengals coming into this game. And he's carried 8 times for 41 yards today as Brooks continues to exercise that right arm over on the sideline. Might have banged with his shoulder. And the walking wounded for the Cincinnati Bengals today. 2nd and 7 here. Brown is in motion. Ball to the 15. Kevin Porter playing the run tough. Stops Eric Ball just across the 15-yard line. It'll be 3rd down for Cincinnati.
Number 82, Ron Holman, is one of the most important clogs in this offense of Cincinnati. Here he's leading through the hole, but he passes up Kevin Porter. Had he stayed with Porter, then maybe they would have gained some more yardage. All-around tight end, good blocker, excellent receiver. He and James Brooks make this offense click.
Brooks still on the sideline, but he is expected to return later in the game. Bengals have converted only 2 of 6 third down. Boomer trying to get away, and despite the bad ankle, he's got a first down. There's a penalty marker on the play. Derek Thomas finally chased down Boomer. Sprained ankle or not, he set sail and picked up the first down.
Derek Thomas, I'll bet he's surprised Boomer turned on the kind of speed that he did.
Holding call against Kansas City.
Holding, number 57, defense. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run, first down.
So after the hold by Chris Martin, another 5 yards after the first down run by Esiason.
Right there, folks. That was the hold. You see Martin still getting his hands on Holman. Doesn't want him to get away. Not allowed to do that, Chris. Big play by Boomer Esiason, boy. Showing a lot of guts out there, Tom.
I tell you, with an ankle that they thought would keep him from playing at all today, running for a first down. Sam Weiss said yesterday he can't even properly pivot to make a handoff. He's played virtually the entire game. That pass tipped, and it's all incomplete. Turk Schonert started, played only the first series for the Bengals before he was shaken up and replaced by Boomer Esiason. Who tipped it here?
Well, let's look at Moss on the center's nose, right in the middle of your screen, number 63. Does he get his hand up there? Yes, that's Bill Moss, the all-pro nose tackle.
Moss was thrown out of the Chiefs' second game of the year as they played the Raiders in the second half of that game. But he has been a Pro Bowl performer in '87 and in '88. Made the play there, deflected the pass. 7 minutes left in the third quarter. Kansas City leading 17-14. Esiason's pass complete. The catch made by Ira Hillary to the 45-yard line of Cincinnati. A gain of 16 and a Bengal first down.
Well, Cincinnati's starting to hit on all cylinders here. This is a good bit of pass protection afforded Boomer Esiason to give him the time to go deep to Hillary. See, Ross wasn't in that bad a position, but Esiason had that ball on the inside just where he needed it, and I know Coach White has to like that pass protection that Boomer's been getting.
Cincinnati with a first down. Jennings spins his way into Kansas City territory. Stanford Jennings with a gain of 7 or 8 yards. Jennings had only carried the ball 4 times coming into today's game. Mr. Do-It-All for Cincinnati. Plays fullback, halfback, returns kicks.
It's an amazing season. Houston's shutting Miami out, and Houston's given up more points than anybody in the game this season so far. How do you hold Marino and the Dolphins scoreless?
Second down play. Ball is to the 45, and he's close to a first down. Mike Bell, veteran defensive end of the Chiefs, getting credit for the stop, but ball is very close to first down territory, just short it appears. It'll be third down and a little less than a yard coming up for Weiss and the Bengals.
There you see Sam signaling in the play that he wants Boomer to run. Usually he'll give Boomer Esiason 2 plays, an either-or situation. One play normally looks better than the other depending on the defense they're in, and then Boomer decides which play to go with.
Jennings is now wide to the right with a man in the slot, and Ball is the only running back. Ball with a handoff, cuts it back to the inside. He has a Bengal first down inside the Chief 40, down to the 36-yard line where he's stopped by Kevin Ross. Well, you saw Sam Weiss signaling in that play, and then Boomer translating it for the rest of the teammates. And, of course, Sam Weiss's complicated offense has spawned a whole language of its own. The Weebies, that's their scoring goal line offense. The attack offense, the no huddle. The sugar huddle is when they huddle up very close to the line of scrimmage, only a step and a half or 2 steps away. Snake eyes they go into with a pre-planned play just after a turnover. And the spinner defense is where a designated player will switch positions on every down on the defense for the Bengals. Boomer has a man wide open. It's Caddis, the tight end. He had split defenders, but Boomer couldn't get him the ball.
Oh, Boomer's not happy with that one because Caddis had his man beaten that time, and Boomer just overthrew him. He knows that Caddis was open, and he sees the pass sail over his head, and oh, what have I done? Well, at least it was an interception. They have second and third down to come back to.
10th play of the Cincinnati drive coming up after the Bengal interception. We've had a scoreless third quarter so far. 17-14, Chiefs leading with 3:51 left. Jennings cuts up. Tackled after a gain of 3. Stanford Jennings in there right now with James Brooks still on the sideline. Walker Lee Ashley got a piece of the tackle for Kansas City.
I wonder what that means. Open up the scoring, huh?
I don't know. In Bengali, I don't know what it means. The Bengali, the special Bengals language. This man puts a lot of thought into the most simple things of offensive football. Like we were talking about, just where they hold the huddle. 3rd and 7. Blitz coming. Esiason gets rid of it. The catch made or not? No, incomplete. Incomplete pass. Intended for Rodney Holman. Covered by the rookie linebacker, Derek Thomas. Chris Martin also there on the coverage.
Well, Boomer Esiason has time, and he has Holman up at the top of your screen with the linebacker covering him. Here you see him coming back to the ball open, but Boomer just doesn't have enough on it. The ball's too low for the reception.
It short hops Holman, and Martin was covering. It was Thomas that came on the blitz, putting the pressure on Boomer Esiason. So Johnson on 4th down will punt. Averaging 44, tries to just punt it, and see if they can down it. It will not be downed. It rolls into the end zone. Kansas City, again, not hurt by a turnover. They'll take over at the 20-yard line when we come back to Arrowhead Stadium. Postseason baseball coming your way on NBC. 8 o'clock Tuesday night, it'll be the Blue Jays and the Athletics in the first game of the American League Championship Series. Join us here on NBC. First down for Kansas City. Their only 2 possessions of the second half have ended in turnovers. Pitch to Okoye on the sweep, and the Bengals are ready for it. Give Okoye 2 to the 22-yard line. Leon White led the defensive charge for Cincinnati.
Well, Leon White, number 51, did a good job of containing the outside. Watch White, how he'll play off the blocker and keep position on the outside to force Okoye to cut back inside. And then White smartly falls back to make the play.
Leon White, in his 4th year out of Brigham Young, was a backup until last year, though he did play in every game his first 2 years with the Bengals. Former all-WAC player at BYU. 2nd and 8. Draw play to Okoye. Still fighting his way forward across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Christian Okoye has had a workout today. He carried the ball 27 times against the Raiders in Game 2 of the season, a win by Kansas City, their only one so far. And we had asked him if he got a workout. He said he got a little tired in the 4th quarter, so that was nothing like college at Azusa Pacific, where he carried it 35 times.
Now let's remember he had a bad groin in the 1st quarter, remember. He pulled a groin muscle.
3rd down coming up for Kansas City. They've converted 5 of 8. It's 3rd and 4. Inside a minute and a half left in the 3rd quarter. 4 wide receivers in for the Chiefs as Jaworski operates from the shotgun. Pass almost intercepted. That was not a good pass either. Intended for Manley as Jaworski went down under the Bengal rush. Barney Bussey got a hand on it. Eric Thomas was also back there, and Jaworski's lucky that one wasn't intercepted.
Yes, and it's the 2nd time he's going in Manley's direction that there was miscommunication. Here he goes to the left, and Billups comes in and nearly intercepts the pass. He's there in better shape than Manley is. Actually, that's Ricky Dixon, number 29.
Kelly Goodburn with the punt. Not a good punt, but it takes a Kansas City bounce. Let's see where they mark it. It'll be marked out of bounds at about the 37 of Cincinnati, a 37-yard punt by Goodburn. Cleveland continuing to hold the edge on the Broncos at Municipal Stadium. Houston on its way to a big victory. Washington's come from behind to take the lead in that game. Indianapolis tying up the Jets. Tim Kelly must be having a big day in Buffalo. Cincinnati takes over with 1:06 left in the 3rd quarter. First down with the ball on the Bengal 38. Chiefs leading at 17-14. Jennings got away from one tackler, then drew a crowd. Taken down at the 40-yard line. Turned a certain loss into a gain of a couple. Walker Lee Ashley, the man that arrived first to meet Stanford Jennings.
Oh, good running by Stanford Jennings. In the black T-shirt and the white hat, that's Neil Smith, the defensive end for the Chiefs. Of course, the #1 draft pick. He has a fractured sternum, is the way he explained it to me yesterday. He said he wouldn't be ready this week, but he's hoping that next week he'll be able to give it a go.
He was an imposing figure in the Saturday practice for the Chiefs. As he came out, they just ran through a couple of formations. He had his combat boots on.
Maybe he went to combat yesterday, but not today.
On 2nd down, Boomer. Ball stood up for grabs, and finally it falls incomplete. A flag down. Coleman again with Chris Martin trying to cover him, and that's been a mismatch all day, and a penalty marker down. Let's see if it's interference.
Well, the way Chris Martin was running and waving his arms, he could have been, well, let's see.
Pass interference, number 57 defense, 1st and 10.
Martin pleads his case, but to no avail, and as most linebackers in the NFL know, covering Rodney Holman can get you in all kinds of trouble.
I don't know if he has a hold of Holman here, but he waves his hands up there in front of his face without turning on the ball, and I guess that could be construed as a pass interference as well.
Had he turned back to the football, that would have been a legal play, but he didn't turn to look for the football, and he's called for interference.
Take another look and see if the interference calls before the ball is bounced in the air. Now, if the interference call comes afterwards, you see, once that ball's in the air and tipped, it doesn't make any difference what Martin does to the receiver. But had he hit him prior to the ball getting there, it's interference, and that's what they're going to stick with.
60,000 fans at Arrowhead don't care for the call, but it looked to be the proper call, and Cincinnati has a first down at the Kansas City 40. Hillary goes in motion. Ball. Can't get outside. Dropped back at the 41-yard line by Derek Thomas. And that'll bring the third quarter to an end. A scoreless third quarter here at Arrowhead Stadium. The score remains Kansas City 17, Cincinnati 14. Tom Hammond and Joe Namath from Arrowhead Stadium. 60,000 fans in sun-baked Arrowhead today. James Brooks, a moment ago during the timeout, walked to the Bengal dressing room. We knew he was shaken up. We haven't had a word yet on the specific nature of the injury, but he is definitely off the playing field. Right now, the Chiefs, too, are playing without a key member of their defense. All-pro safety Deron Cherry has bruised ribs and is not on the field at the moment, though he may return. Cincinnati with a 2nd and 11 to open the fourth quarter. 17-14, Kansas City leads. Here comes Derek Thomas. The Bengals pick up the blitz. Thomas hits Boomer just as he lets it go, and the pass goes incomplete. Boomer lost his helmet in that collision with the first-round rookie Derek Thomas.
Well, Thomas is able to get there just in time to make this pass fall incomplete. Here you see him jar Boomer aside as soon as he lets the pass go. And Boomer wants to get out of that helmet. Man, what's going on here? Give me a little help with this protection.
Where'd that truck come from? 6 defensive backs on the field now for Kansas City. Deron Cherry is back. It's 3rd and 11. 4 wide receivers, 2 to either side for Cincinnati. On the ground, Jennings tripped up just across the 40. Mike Bell got a hand on the foot of Stanford Jennings to bring him down, and it'll bring up 4th down for Cincinnati.
That definitely has to be classified as a strange call to me. You have your 4 wideouts, and you're looking to break this run for a good 12 yards so you can get the first gain, and Mike Bell makes a nice ankle tackle there. I would have expected him to go over top, Tom, and try and pass the ball downfield.
Well, I think Sam Weiss noted that teams had been able to run against the Kansas City nickel package very successfully, averaging 6 or 7 yards a play, and he was hoping to hit a big one there. Manley is deep as Johnson set to punt. Manley lets it hit, and it'll go out of bounds. Good punt by Johnson, who tried to place it inside the 20. There is a flag down as the ball will be marked out of bounds at about the 12-yard line. Just a 26-yard punt, but he wasn't trying for distance. He was trying for location, and he got it. Now they pick the flag up, so apparently there will be no penalty on the play. We have a timeout here in Kansas City with 14:06 left in the game. Kansas City continues to lead 17-14. We'll be back to Kansas City after a word from your local station. To start the fourth quarter at Arrowhead Stadium, Kansas City still leading 17-14 after what was a scoreless third quarter. A third quarter in which Kansas City moved the ball pretty well, but then turnovers kept them from getting any points.
Oh, that's it. I mean, they have marched the ball downfield, but Cincinnati's been able to force the turnover, take the interception away from them, and the fumble, and they haven't been able to get any points on the board. This is developing into a good defensive struggle.
Kansas City with a first down. Okoye blasts through the line, and taking Bengal players with him, goes to the 19. Here are the third quarter stats now. You'll notice that time of possession, heavily in favor of the Chiefs in the first half, has started to even up. And I guess the key stats there are turnovers, 2 for Cincinnati in the first half, leading to 10 Kansas City points, and 3 for the Chiefs, 2 of those in the third quarter, which nullified Kansas City drives.
Well, everything is evened out, so to speak, and we have a tight score here, 17-14.
Remember, Cincinnati hasn't won in Kansas City since 1980. 2nd and 4 for the Chiefs. Okoye again. And again, he hits the hole with a head of steam. Got 2, maybe. He's going to be just short of the first down. David Fulcher, who is one of the biggest strong safeties in the NFL, and they're ruling it a touchdown. Joe, I didn't see what happened. I thought the play was over. They say Cincinnati picked up the ball and scored a touchdown, and frankly, folks, I didn't see what happened. Leon White, number 51, suddenly, with all the players just standing around, came up with a football and went into the end zone. The players were literally standing around getting ready for the next play.
Touchdown. The play is being reviewed.
Well, they're going to review it, I hope so, because I haven't seen it yet.
Well, let's take a look. I don't know if we'll be able to tell when the play ends or not, or when the ball comes out, but Fulcher gets right up in the hole and delivers a good lick, but Okoye still has the ball in his possession. Progress appears to be stopped, and you can't really see where the ball is. I couldn't tell where the ball came out.
I never saw it come out, but somehow Leon White wound up with it.
One thing about it, if there isn't some kind of conclusive evidence here that he didn't fumble, then it's going to stay touchdown Cincinnati.
Chuck Eberling is reviewing the play. Christian Okoye was the man who had the ball picked free.
Well, he has the ball in his right arm. He's carrying it there, and he still has control of it. Does his knee get down to the ground before the ball comes loose? There's the ball going loose now. I think it is fumble.
Awfully hard to tell. All the players had come to a stop. It's like they were getting ready to walk back to the huddle. I thought the play was over. And they have let the play stand. The play will go as it stands, a Cincinnati touchdown.
Okoye appeared to lose possession of the ball before he did hit the ground, and the whistle wasn't blowing, stopping his forward progress. So you have a nice touchdown for the Cincinnati Bengals in an awful situation for the Chiefs.
Well, we were talking about turnovers, and there's one that really hurts Kansas City. They're 3rd of the second half, 4th of the game. Okoye has the ball stripped away, and Cincinnati's White takes it in for the touchdown. Gallery now to try the extra point.
Offense, 5 yards.
And move them back 5 yards on the extra point try. Christian Okoye had the ball taken away, getting a word now from Marty Schottenheimer. Looks like Marty was saying, go back in there and take that play off.
Well, Marty's good with his players. He tries to calm them down, give them nothing but confidence. He'll correct them when they make mistakes, and he'll explain to them why they made the mistakes. They want to know what they saw. And right there, though, he was just trying to fire up Christian Okoye.
Gallery's extra point is good, so the Bengals, on a recovered fumble for a touchdown by White, take their first lead.
NBC sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Anheuser-Busch. We brew our fine quality beers to be enjoyed responsibly. Remember, know when to say when. By Mazda Cars and Trucks. Mazda, it just feels right. And by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
Back at Arrowhead Stadium, Lee Johnson ready to kick off for Cincinnati after that controversial touchdown. Saxon and McNair are deep, and the Saxon lets it bounce and goes out of the end zone, and Kansas City will take over at its own 20-yard line. Let's have another look now at the big play of the game so far, Christian Okoye.
Well, you can't really tell if he fumbles the ball or not. He gets in this pile and bounces around, and we'll see his right arm and the ball kind of reach out, but because it's so inconclusive, the officials in the replay booth have to stay with the call on the field, and the officials on the field called it fumble.
The ball came out of his right arm, which wound up in a laid-out position. It appeared just as he went down. You see a dark object. I think that's the ball, but still in his arm. It finally comes out about the time he reaches the ground, and as you say, nothing conclusive at all about the replay. They go right back to Okoye. He wraps around the football this time and gets almost 5 yards. Mike Webster leading the way for Okoye. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs last in the AFC in the turnover ratio, while Cincinnati has a +3, and that includes right up to the 4 turnovers by Kansas City today. They have committed 4. They've taken the ball away twice. Ron Jaworski now battling from behind for the first time in the game. 12:28 and counting in the 4th quarter. This is a play-action pass. Jaworski sacked. Leon White with the sack for Cincinnati. Jaworski never had a chance to set up as White, who scored the touchdown a moment ago, gets the first Bengals sack of the day.
From the left side of your screen, number 51 comes in and gets around number 30, Paulot Karuk, to be able to get back there and get Jaworski. Jaworski ideally could have stepped up into the pocket that time, but he never saw Leon White coming clean.
Joe, is this a case now of a team like Kansas City, which has not had success in recent years, starting to fold up after that bit of adversity, the Bengal touchdown?
I tell you, if they didn't have number 53 out there at center and number 7 at quarterback, I'd think that'd be the case. But those two fellas, Webster and Jaworski, have seen it all.
Jaworski throws it incomplete. Pass was intended for Rob Thomas. A little behind him, and it'll go incomplete. And now Kansas City must punt from deep in its own territory. When we'll watch the Chiefs very carefully now to see if they do fall apart. Marty Schottenheimer said one of the things he thought was lacking when he came from Cleveland to take over in Kansas City was attitude. Not all the players with the same goal, the same objective, and often a team that has not had success waits for the other shoe to drop after something bad happens. Goodburn with a kick. Taken all the way back inside the 45-yard line by Hillary. Works his way back up to midfield as a flag goes down. Rob McGovern, the rookie linebacker on special teams for Kansas City, makes the stop after a 41-yard punt. Jim Diopoulos, one of the officials, talking with Gordon McCarter, the referee. It'll be a hold against Cincinnati. That'll put them back into Bengal territory. Schottenheimer.
Holding number 35 receiving team during the return. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
So the holding call against Barber of Cincinnati.
See if we can see the holding call from the upper right side of the screen there. I can't really tell. It looks like a blur to me, but that's where the holding did occur.
Mike Martin on the punt return got almost to midfield, but the penalty sets it back to the 35-yard line. Hillary in motion. The carry by Ball. 5 yards across the 40. Leonard Griffin makes the tackle. Well, Cincinnati fans don't like that Brown score, but Chiefs fans do, as Denver is the leader in the AFC West. Cleveland tied with Cincinnati for the lead in the Central. You would have thought Pittsburgh could put together a 2-game winning streak after being outscored 92-10 in their first 2 efforts.
Well, I sure didn't.
You had company. Eric Ball has carried 13 times for 57 yards for the Bengals today, who have it 2nd and 5. And he gets the handoff again, and he adds to that total. He's into Chief territory down to the 48-yard line, spun down by Derek Thomas. The Bengals biting off huge chunks of yardage on the running plays now. Thomas made that tackle. Here's the attack. Kansas City with too many men on the field. Boomer's got a free play, and it'll be incomplete. Hillary, the intended receiver, covered by Kevin Porter. There's also a flag down where maybe contact was made between Hillary and Porter, who was covering on the play.
Well, he picked that flag up, Tom. But I think we're going to see the Bengals hurry up attack offense work once again.
12 men on defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Marty Schottenheimer doesn't like the call. Talking about the attack offense yesterday, he said with the rules the way they are, it's fair now. That time they were trying to make a situational substitution. Boomer had the ball snapped and caught Kansas City with 12 men on the field. That's one of the goals of the Sam Weiss designed attack offense. To prevent the substitutions, or if you try to make them, to catch you with too many men on the field. Re-spotting the ball by a yard in Cincinnati's favor, down to the 43 of Kansas City. First down, Bengals, 1st and 5. Callis, the man in motion. Stanford Jennings, close to a first down, inside the 40 of Kansas City. Cincinnati running effectively, Joe, and it's almost like you could see the air go out of that Kansas City team. They're just deflated as if you'd let the air out of a balloon.
Oh, that's exactly right. This momentum has shifted drastically with that fumble recovery and return for a touchdown. Kansas City seems very lethargical out there, both on offense and defense. And right now, I have to wonder if this big offensive line of the Bengals isn't beginning to wear down that Kansas City defensive front.
Getting over 4 yards a rush for 16 consecutive games. And biting off big chunks here in the 4th quarter. Jennings hit hard, but he's got enough for the first down. Derek Thomas made a good hit on Stanford Jennings. And that Cincinnati offensive line doing the job at the moment. They've got the Chiefs defense outweighed.
Yeah, well, you see, they have them outweighed like 32 pounds a man there. And in the 4th quarter, you got to wonder that this Kansas City Chiefs defensive front 5, if they're not a little tired. There's a lot of heavy guys pressing that body weight on them a long time today, so they should be tired.
Less than 9 minutes remaining in the game. Cincinnati leading Kansas City 21-17. Stanford Jennings thrown for a loss that time, as Don Saliamua and Derek Thomas combined to get Stanford Jennings down for a loss. Dan Saliamua in his 3rd year out of Arizona State, Plan B free agent from Detroit.
That was a big play for the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bengals have been gaining some good yardage on first down, and this time number 58, Derek Thomas, comes in quickly to disrupt the action. It looked like there may have been a reverse set up for Eddie Brown to go around the other way, but Jennings smartly held on to the ball.
2nd and 14. What a gutsy effort by Boomer Esiason today, playing with a bad ankle. Derek Thomas coming on a blitz, but the Bengals pick it up. Boomer's pass incomplete. Pretty good coverage by the Chiefs secondary that time, Albert Lewis in particular. Boomer rolled out to avoid the rush as Thomas was coming from the other side on a blitz. Another injured Bengal. Already James Brooks has left the game with a bruised shoulder. It's Eddie Brown on the field at the moment, the Pro Bowl receiver for Cincinnati.
Well, you see what happens here is Albert Lewis just falls on top of Eddie Brown, and Eddie Brown may have landed on his shoulder. He appeared to land on his upper body and could have a shoulder injury because of that. Boy, without James Brooks in there and Munoz playing at 3/4 speed, Esiason at 3/4 speed, Cincinnati team is doing a pretty good job offensively, but they can't afford to lose this deep threat.
Kansas City on the other side hoping to hold Cincinnati at least to only a field goal and have a chance to tie the game with a touchdown and extra point.
Once again, Boomer sprinting out on that tender ankle, gets the ball out in front of Eddie Brown, but too far in front, and then both players, Brown and Lewis, come down hard on Eddie Brown. And he's still shaken up and still on the field.
Here's the lineup for next Sunday on NBC, starting with NFL Live at 12:30. Some of you will see Jim Kelly go in to face the Indianapolis Colts at the Hoosier Dome. Cleveland will take on Miami, a battle of former University of Miami quarterback Kosar against Dan Marino, who now is down in South Florida doing his thing. College ball at Pittsburgh. The Steelers, meanwhile, will host the Bengals in a rematch of Week 2 of the NFL season, an easy win for Cincinnati at Riverfront. And, of course, on Tuesday night, the American League Championship Series will get underway with the Lee Brown on the field at the moment, the Pro Bowl receiver for Cincinnati.
Well, you see what happens here is Albert Lewis just falls on top of Eddie Brown, and Eddie Brown may have landed on his shoulder. He appeared to land on his upper body and could have a shoulder injury because of that. Boy, without James Brooks in there and Munoz playing at three-quarter speed, Esiason at three-quarter speed, Cincinnati team is doing a pretty good job offensively, but they can't afford to lose this deep threat.
Kansas City on the other side hoping to hold Cincinnati at least to only a field goal and have a chance to tie the game with a touchdown and extra point.
Once again, Boomer sprinting out on that tender ankle, gets the ball out in front of Eddie Brown, but too far in front, and then both players, Brown and Lewis, come down hard on Eddie Brown. And he's still shaken up and still on the field.
Here's the lineup for next Sunday on NBC, starting with NFL Live at 12:30. Some of you will see Jim Kelly go in to face the Indianapolis Colts at the Hoosier Dome. Cleveland will take on Miami, a battle of former University of Miami quarterback Kosar against Dan Marino, who now is down in South Florida doing his thing. College ball at Pittsburgh. The Steelers, meanwhile, will host the Bengals in a rematch of Week 2 of the NFL season, an easy win for Cincinnati at Riverfront. And, of course, on Tuesday night, the American League Championship Series will get underway with the Blue Jays visiting Oakland to take on the Athletics, starting at 8 o'clock Eastern Time here on NBC. Eddie Brown shaken up, holding his right arm, his right elbow, it would appear. The Bengals trailing most of the game until a big turnover here in the fourth quarter as Leon White stripped the ball away from Christian Okoye and took it in for the touchdown, giving the Bengals their first lead of the afternoon, 21-14 or 21-17, as they bid to win here at Arrowhead for the first time since 1980. Kansas City has won 6 in the last 8 meetings anywhere with Cincinnati, 4 of the last 5. 3rd and 14. Kansas City showing blitz. Here they come after Boomer. He escapes the rush. Looking for a spot, fumbles the ball. Kansas City has it at the 25-yard line. Kenny Hill recovered the ball for Kansas City and brought it back to his own 40. Lewis Cooper is the man that knocked the ball loose from Boomer Esiason. Turnovers have been huge in this game. Cincinnati was threatening. Kansas City recovered that Esiason fumble. They're going to nullify the run back now and give it to Kansas City back at the 25.
The whistle is blown at this spot after the recovery. First down, Kansas City.
Brian Blados is injured on the play for Cincinnati. Here's what happened again.
Well, Boomer smartly took it upfield. He's going to get his team in field goal possession with this run. But at the end of the run, you'll see that ball come loose when he's hit by number 55, Lewis Cooper. Just another good defensive play. Boomer couldn't quite wrap up the ball. And, of course, let's see if we can see where number 74, Blados, was hurt.
Right there. He's the man on the ground right in the bottom of the screen. So Boomer's fumble. Another Cincinnati turnover, but they lead. Here's the play again, Joe.
Well, the ball comes out. It's no doubt it's a fumble. Then you'll see Kenny Hill, 41, come in. He'll get pushed from behind right there by number 85, Tim McGee.
So he was down by contact. That's the correct ruling. Okoye. Not much. Kansas City sticking to the game plan. And the Bengals ready for it. Jim Scowl down at the bottom of the pile for Cincinnati to stop Christian Okoye. Marty Schottenheimer still trying to gain ground against Cincinnati with the infantry. 112 a week ago, a career high, 98 today. Joe Delaney, the last to do it for Kansas City back in 1981. 21-17, Cincinnati leads. 7 minutes, 14 seconds remaining in the game. 2nd and 9. Jaworski, throw it away. Had Hurd short, Manley long, and he threw it in between. You know, Jaworski looked pretty good early, but Joe, in the second half, he has not looked very sharp to me.
Well, we mentioned he threw a lot of passes before the game. He spent a lot of time on the field throwing and questioned the wisdom in that and worrying about the fourth quarter, maybe getting tired. But he got some pretty good pressure on this last play. In fact, he may even get hit before he releases the ball that maybe causes, well, I'd just say that was a badly underthrown pass that time.
3rd down and 9 for Kansas City. They're at their own 28-yard line, trailing by 4. Jaworski's in the shotgun. Double wide receivers to left and right. Flags fly. Somebody moved too soon. Jaworski lets it go, and it is complete for a cheap first down if the play stands. Stephon Page made the reception. Penalty markers all over the place. Jaworski clapping. Offside Cincinnati.
Well, I tell you what, the right tackle of the Chiefs got away with one that time because he sure appeared to be moving to me. Irv Eatman.
Offside, 72 defense, penalty declined, first down.
Oh boy, let's watch the left side of that offensive line too. And number 75, I think he might just rock back a little bit there. You see on the left side of your screen, definitely before the ball was snapped, but it wasn't detected by the officials.
Meanwhile, Stephon Page limped off the field after making that first down catch.
The Chiefs of Amico Motor Club are pleased to present you with full.
Well, he's still down on the field, as a matter of fact. Page has made 3 receptions for 56 yards. That was one of the biggest right there, as it enabled the Chiefs to pick up a first down.
Jaworski right on target with the pass. Page will run it down and then just come back outside to the sidelines. Boy, there were a lot of people moving there. And the ball will be outside well enough away from Lewis Billups for the completion. See, the ball is in perfect position that time.
When Page is pushed down, you really can't see where the injury might have occurred. He already had been banged up in the game.
Help after the game. Look for the Amico service vehicles in the parking lots. In addition, the Amico
Bumped out of bounds by Billups.
Well, that was the play the Chiefs needed, boy. They had a tough situation that time, and they overcame some pretty long yardage for that big completion. I don't know that they'll go back to the running game, but Kansas City hasn't been able to run the ball nearly as well this half as they did in that first half, Tom. And this Cincinnati Bengal defense has tightened up tremendously.
Mike Webster over the ball, 16-year veteran. Ron Jaworski under center, a 15-year veteran, trying to rally this Kansas City team. First down pass. Knocked down, incomplete. Tipped at the line of scrimmage by Jim Scowl, who's not very big, 6'3", 243. That's big, but not big by NFL defensive lineman standards. He said it's leverage that gets the job done.
He's on the left side of your screen right there, fighting Irv Eatman, number 75. We're actually fighting Lutz, but it is Scowl that gets his hands up off the blocker and is able to knock the pass down.
A big play by Scowl. Now it forces Kansas City into a 2nd and 10, and now they really can't run, can they?
Well, they could. You figure if they could pick up 4 or 5 yards this time, a 3rd and 4 or 5 is not a bad situation to be in.
They will try the run to Okoye. Lowers his head to the 45-yard line. He got 3. Reggie Williams, the veteran linebacker, on the stop for Cincinnati. Okoye is over 100 yards for the 2nd consecutive game. He's carried 24 times for 101 yards. Just about duplicating his effort of a year ago against Cincinnati when he gained 102. 3rd down and 7 coming up for the Chiefs.
They haven't had a lot to cheer about this half, the people wearing the red and the gold.
It's been turnovers that have been the undoing of the Chiefs. Nullified 2 scoring drives, and on a 3rd, giving Cincinnati a touchdown. Jaworski steps up in the pocket, delivers a strike. It'll be close to the 1st down. Rob Thomas went down to get the ball, got his arms under it for a catch, and it'll be very close to the 1st down.
Play of the game's going to be coming up. I think it's going to be short. Rob Thomas does a nice job of making the catch.
They're going to ask for a measurement, but the initial signal was just short. And if so, Kansas City's got to go for it with 5:45 left.
I'll tell you what, with Christian Okoye back there, 260 pounds or whatever, you give him a running start, he's hard to stop for a no gain. And it appears they're only going to need a matter of inches.
That's exactly how much they need, as you see. A couple of feet, actually. Final score in. Houston beating Miami 39-7. Interesting to note that Mark Logan, who formerly played for Cincinnati and fumbled a kickoff that led to the defeat here against Kansas City a year ago, had a 97-yard kickoff return for Miami's only score in that game. 4th and inches. Kansas City will go for it just in Cincinnati territory. They trail 21-17. Okoye didn't get much. He didn't need much. This will be a critical spot. Cincinnati was ready for him. And it looks like Cincinnati has held. On Monday night, they held Cleveland without scoring twice inside their own 10. And perhaps they made a critical stop here as we unpile bodies. Sam's getting a good look at it. 1st down, Cincinnati. The Bengals hold on defense, turning Kansas City away on 4th and inches.
Good penetration by that Cincinnati defensive front. Hammerstein, number 71, gets in there. Skyle gets in the backfield. Then David Fulcher comes from the backside and is able to wrestle Okoye to the ground.
You know, I thought Okoye just sort of tiptoed to the line that time. He didn't really have a head of steam going up at 260 pounds, and he was held short of the 1st down.
You know, that penetration by the defense sometimes will confuse a running back, and that moment of indecision will cause him not to have that head of steam going.
And now Boomer takes over on offense. 5:17 left. Cincinnati will try to work the clock a little bit. Stanford Jennings hit, spins away from one man, taken down at the Chief 48-yard line.
We'll take another look at that big 4th down play. Christian Okoye is going to run to the left of your screen. There you see Cincinnati Skyle getting good penetration, and 71 Hammerstein, and then Fulcher jumps over the backside and wrestles Okoye to the ground.
21-17, Cincinnati with the lead. Clock ticking away. Christian Okoye has gained over 100 yards for Kansas City. Right now his team trailing. Delivers the ball complete for a Bengal 1st down to the 35-yard line. Tim McGee makes the catch for 13 yards, but there is a penalty marker down, and it will be against Cincinnati. Kevin Ross made the tackle on McGee.
Holding. 75 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Bruce Reimers on the hold, nullifying a 1st down pass for Cincinnati.
2nd and 17.
See if we can see left guard Bruce Reimers just to the left of the hash mark, number 75. He gets his hand on the rusher. And here you see he has kind of a stranglehold around Mike Bell, number 99. Not allowed to do that. Gonna call that holding every time.
2nd and 17 now for Cincinnati. The ball set back to the Bengal 42-yard line. Thomas, the linebacker, lines up on the left side of the Chiefs, and here he comes. Thomas all over Boomer Esiason for the sack. Derek Thomas ran over another rookie, Eric Ball, to get the sack.
Coming from the right side of your screen, you see Derek Thomas actually get around the tight end, Rodney Holman, which is, or is that Eric Ball? You're right, I thought that was Holman, Tom. But that's the kind of play they're looking for from that #1 draft choice, Eric Thomas. He makes the big plays he did in college, and in this point of the game right now, critical stage, he comes up with another big sack.
He had 2.5 sacks against the Raiders, but had a subpar game last week. Cincinnati on the ground to Jennings. He almost broke it. He'll be short of the first down. Of course, they needed 25. Mike Bell stops him, and Cincinnati will have to punt. Kansas City will get the ball back. The clock down to 3:40.
Well, Sam White knows it, and so does Marty Schottenheimer. Kansas City's going to need a touchdown. A field goal won't do them any good since they're 4 points down.
Lee Johnson is on to punt for Cincinnati. Averaging just under 40 yards, but a couple of those were designed to be short for down inside the 20. Manley is the deep man for Kansas City. Bengals taking plenty of time, letting that clock roll away. Play clock still has 11 seconds. They'll use all of it. Johnson's punt. Good high punt by Lee Johnson. Manley lets it bounce. It's into the end zone. Touchback on the punt by Johnson. The ball comes to the 20, where Kansas City will take over. A 54-yard boot by Lee Johnson. So the critical drive of the game coming up for the veteran Ron Jaworski and his Kansas City offense. They've been plagued by turnovers here in the second half. 2 of them nullified scoring drives. 1 of them gave Cincinnati a touchdown as Leon White stripped the ball from Christian Okoye and took it in for the Bengals score. That's the new Kansas City mascot, by the way, replacing Warpaint the horse. I don't know what that new one is, but I preferred Warpaint myself.
What is that thing? I don't know. It looks like a big mouse. I don't know what that is. I've never seen one before.
21-17, 2:44 left in the game. First down, Chiefs at their own 20. Football game hanging in the balance. Jaworski's pass incomplete. Rob Thomas had it bounce off his fingers. It was a little wide. He made an effort, got his hands on it, couldn't hold it. Jaworski 14 of 25 on the afternoon.
Rob Thomas in the middle of your screen, just going to run down and try to hook to the outside here, but Jaworski's pass is a little too wide for him to get to. He just couldn't quite get out underneath it. Pretty good coverage over there by the Bengals. The ball had to be on target. The good thing for Kansas City is they're able to block Cincinnati at this point. Cincinnati knows that the Chiefs need to pass, so, buddy, they're going to be coming after Jaworski.
4 wide receivers in for the Chiefs. 2 to either side. Jaworski's pass intercepted by Cincinnati. Intercepted by Fulcher. He's back to the 20-yard line, to the 19, and Fulcher just playing center field. Watched it all the way and came up to make the interception. Rob Thomas was the closest Chief, as Jaworski is picked off for the 3rd time today. Marty Schottenheimer's quarterbacks have pitched 8 interceptions the last 2 games.
Now, what Jaworski would like to have the ball back to Fulcher caught. Fulcher's playing in a center field position right in the middle of the football field, just reading the offense, and he just cuts right in front, right here, on the pass intended for Rob Thomas. I'm not sure it wouldn't have been intercepted anyway. It looked like awful good coverage on Thomas that time.
2.5 minutes left in the football game, and the Bengals with a first down at the Chief 19-yard line. Turnovers have killed Kansas City this year, worst in the AFC. They now go to -10 on the giveaway takeaway ratio. Ball picks his way for yardage. He's down now to the 12-yard line of Kansas City as the clock continues to tick away and now is stopped by a Kansas City timeout.
Number 2, 40-second timeout.
So the Chiefs, with their second timeout, they have one left. Jaworski with 3 interceptions today.
Well, we're watching Jaworski after he's thrown the ball and how he feels now that the play is finished. An interception, boy, I tell you, makes a quarterback's stomach turn. You just feel like you've let everyone down. The whole team's counting on you, and then you make a play that you wish you hadn't made. It's an awful feeling. But it's something you have to get over, and I know Ron will. He'll fight back. He's been around too long. Right now, what the Chiefs have to do is try to snatch that ball away from one of the Bengal ball carriers. The Bengals should keep the ball on the ground here and continue to advance it with this powerful running game. But these ball carriers of the Bengals better wrap both hands around it, because right now those Chiefs are going to be trying to yank that thing loose.
We'll be picking a Budweiser MVP in this game. And a number 7 right there is a candidate with a gutsy performance today for Cincinnati. Not expected to play with a sprained ankle. He's played the entire game, save for the first Bengals series. Jennings at the 10-yard line, stopped by Kevin Porter.
Tackled by Kevin Porter.
As we come down approaching the 2-minute warning.
Well, that's valuable time running off the clock. Kansas City's giving it away.
And we have reached the 2-minute warning at Arrowhead Stadium. Fans heading for the exits. Bengals with a 21-17 lead. Tom Hammond and Joe Namath at Arrowhead Stadium. 60,000 fans starting to clear out as they've seen their team struggle with turnovers again. Here are the fans heading for the exits. Cincinnati will have it with a 3rd and 1 from the Chief 10-yard line. Critical that Kansas City hold here. If they could possibly make Cincinnati settle for the field goal, they would still have a chance to tie it up.
Well, that's the possibility. Cincinnati's aware of that, so they certainly want to try and get this first down. I don't know, do you play action fake? Well, I know play action fake right now would have to work. I mean, everyone in the ballpark, I would believe, is expecting Cincinnati to run right now.
It has a bit of risk, but certainly would seem to be a nice call here. And a touchdown would ensure a Bengal victory. Ball hit behind the line and stopped. So Kansas City does hold on 4th down. Or 4th down coming up, they hold on 3rd, forcing a field goal attempt. Good penetration by the Kansas City defense. Kansas City takes its final timeout. 1:54 left.
There'll be good Kansas City penetration to get in that backfield to make the stop on Eric Ball. Right there, nice penetration by Griffin, and it forces Cincinnati now into the field goal situation.
Gallery is on to try the field goal. Schonert will hold. It'll be a 31-yard attempt. And it's no good. It's no good. He missed it. Gallery misses from 31 yards, and the Chiefs suddenly have new life. A touchdown could win it. Boy, we've seen the emotion shift in this game. And what about Jim Gallery? Is his job in jeopardy? He missed a couple against Cleveland on Monday night, and here misses a 31-yarder.
Tell you, the hold looks to be pretty good, and he hits the ball solidly. Looked like he stayed down behind it, and I guess he just pulled the ball here. It missed to the left, so that would indicate a slight pull. And if Kansas City does score, Tom, I'd say, yeah, Gallery's job is in jeopardy.
There's the rush, and Gallery just missed it. All right, Kansas City, no timeouts left now. They have a first down at their own 20. On the ground, this is McNair. Todd McNair is dropped after a gain of 2. Wow, what are they doing, Joe?
That's not smart at all. And McNair, I know he may have been trying to get to the out-of-bounds line, but it didn't look like it. They're wasting a lot of valuable time by sticking the ball on the ground.
Marty Schottenheimer calling the plays from the sideline. Clock down to a minute 25. This time they will pass. Almost intercepted. It'll be incomplete. Third down coming up. Emil Harry was the intended receiver. Eric Thomas was with him step for step.
Oh, Eric Thomas was all over him. I mean, that was a crossing pattern. Eric Thomas had excellent position. And watch Eric Thomas. He'll cut in and nearly intercept this pass. Look at Eric Thomas turn on the speed there. He nearly gets the interception. Just beautiful coverage.
3rd and 10 coming up for Kansas City. A minute 19 left. Cincinnati with a 21-17 lead. Jaworski has good blocking, and this pass intercepted. Intercepted again by Fulcher, his second of the day. Harry was the intended receiver, and will the Chiefs be quarterback shopping this week? 4 interceptions today by Ron Jaworski, 5 last week by Steve DeBerg. And it has been a comedy of errors for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're their own worst enemy.
Coach Schottenheimer certainly not feeling good about this. I tell you, you've got to give some credit to that Cincinnati Bengal defense. There's Steve DeBerg looking on, saying, you see that? It could happen to anybody. His interception. Meantime, Fulcher is just playing center field. He reads Jaworski's eyes all the way, and Jaworski's high with the pass to the outside, and Fulcher makes a nice diving catch. You've got to give a lot of credit to this Cincinnati defense. I think they've done a terrific job today, considering ball position, field position. Fulcher being helped to his feet.
Fulcher with 3 interceptions today, 3 for Fulcher and 4 for the Cincinnati defense. 3rd interception for David Fulcher. I think I said second a minute ago. His 3rd. And the Cincinnati defense
First down.
ruining the return to action of Ron Jaworski. That's 9 interceptions in 2 games for the Kansas City quarterbacks. Now Cincinnati just will run the timeout. Kansas City is out of timeouts, and the Bengals will just let the clock run away. They'll have to run at least one more play. Well, Marty Schottenheimer, when he was the Cleveland coach, had good success against the Cincinnati Bengals, but facing them for the first time as the Kansas City coach, will see the turnovers seal his doom, and the Bengals will go to 3-1. Cleveland wins today, so the Browns and the Bengals remain tied in the Central Division. The Chiefs will go to 1-3, and the Bengals will win at Arrowhead Stadium for the first time since 1980. Sam Weiss had to use a lot of injured players today. They got banged up, but they managed to come up with a big play. The clinching touchdown was Leon White stripping the ball away from Christian Okoye and taking it in for the touchdown, and that was the margin of victory as the players and coaches come onto the field as the clock will tick away without another play being run. Boomer Esiason, what a gutty effort today. Not expected to play with a sprained left ankle. He came onto the field after Turk Schonert was shaken up and directed the Bengals to this victory. Final score, 21-17. Cincinnati with its first win here since 1980, assuring themselves of a share of the lead in the AFC Central. Leon White with the fumble recovery for the touchdown, the margin of victory as Cincinnati beats Kansas City by a final score of 21-17. Back to Arrowhead for some final comments in just a moment.